Hey, you know what that means? We're live! Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only DJ Storms, and I would like to welcome each and every single one of you back here to the channel on YouTube.com on this fine, very hot Saturday afternoon, as it is indeed summertime here in New Jersey after the shitty week that we've had, raining almost every single day. The grass is fucking filled with mushrooms. It looks like a fucking marsh out there. But nevertheless, I am here. I am live, and we have a lot to talk about. But as of course you already know who I am, Mr. Controversy. It's not just the name, it's fucking truth. And the operator of the best damn Twitter handle, no. Smell that? You smell that? That right there's a smell of excellence, people. Wait for it. Wait for it. To mankind. And this is the official Lightning Flash update for Saturday, May 21st, 2022, of course. There was a lot of news as far as professional wrestling relates, and we are going to go through it all. Only 3 weekly show reviews this week. I'm going to review Raw, Dynamite, and Rampage. Fuck NXT. NXT sucks. Fuck NXT UK. It's becoming just as bad as NXT 2.0 now. I will be doing a rundown for NXT in your house, and I'm going to explain everything regarding the plans starting on May 26th, because May 26th is going to kick off the Summer of Storms, the Summer of Storms New Jersey Tour, the Summer of Storms World Tour, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Regardless, from May 26th to June 6th, I am going to be one busy motherfucker. I'm going to be one busy motherfucker. We are going to have a lot of shows to cover because we are going to be heading on over to Earl Cole's channel. I'm going to be on Earl Cole's channel along with Matt Moody. Matt Moody is a great friend of mine. Shout out to Matt Moody. Matt Moody and myself will be on Earl Cole's channel, The Wrestling Experience, and we are going to be previewing and predicting Double or Nothing 2022. So that should indeed be a very fun time. And then, of course, I am going to do my own rundown for Double or Nothing. That's going to be on May 29th, that afternoon before Double or Nothing. And I'm thinking about a guest. I'm going to do some searching, do some researching, make some connections, see what I can find out, and I'll be able to get a guest on for the rundown for Double or Nothing. Prior to that, of course, is the Lightning Flash update for May 28th. And then May 30th will be the rewind for Double or Nothing. And me and Lisa, we've been talking, and hopefully Lisa will be able to come on my channel, and she may be my guest for the rewind for Double or Nothing. She's going to actually be live in attendance in Las Vegas for Double or Nothing. So, Lisa, I hope you have a phenomenal time down there, and hopefully we do get to do the rewind together. And then, of course, on Thursday, I'm thinking either about Thursday or Friday, maybe Tuesday and Thursday. I'm thinking about whether or not I want to do it separately or do it together. I think I may do it separately. I'm probably going to do it separately because no one really gives a fuck about NXT. Let's be real. No one is watching NXT. The show sucks. The show is irrelevant. So let's be real here. I think I may just do a rundown for Hell in a Cell on Tuesday, and then I'll probably do the rundown for NXT in your house on Thursday. I'm thinking about 8 p.m., say. 8 p.m. is going to be the date because no one gives a shit about NXT, and I'm probably going to be missing NXT UK anyway. So I'm probably going to do the rundown for Hell in a Cell on Tuesday. That, I believe, would be May 31st, if I'm not mistaken. And then on June 2nd, Thursday, I will do the rundown for NXT in your house. Of course, we got the Lightning Flash update on June 4th in the afternoon. NXT in your house. Again, no one really gives a shit about NXT, but I'm going to cover it anyway, seeing that it is a big weekend. We got the rewind for NXT in your house. I will do that on Sunday afternoon, and then on Sunday night, we got Hell in a Cell. Monday, I'm going to do the rewind for Hell in a Cell. Monday, June 6th, that is, I will be doing the rewind for Hell in a Cell 2022. It's going to be a busy 2 weeks for me. It's going to be a real busy 2 weeks. Now, if you noticed, I was not live tweeting for Rampage or SmackDown. That's because I was at an ISPW event, Independent Superstars of Professional Wrestling, which is where I got this t-shirt. I was at ISPW War to Settle the Score. That was in Totowa, New Jersey at the Totowa PAL, and I hope to be back at ISPW very, very soon. There's a show in Butler, actually. There's a show in Butler, New Jersey on June 24th, Friday, and I think that I might take a spin over there. I might go to that show because the ISPW World Heavyweight Champion, Danny Morrison, shout out to him, he is going to be fighting Tommy Dreamer. So I think I may take a spin on over there, seeing that I am a Tommy Dreamer guy, and I very much love Danny Morrison and what he's doing. He is very good at what he does. He carries himself very well. He looks like a beast in his own right. He's very good in the ring. He's very good on the microphone as well. So I may take a spin over to Butler on June 24th. That's a Friday for ISPW in Butler, New Jersey. So hopefully everything works itself out and Tommy Dreamer's able to make it. But yes, I was at the ISPW wrestling event. I did peep the results for Rampage and SmackDown. I will not be covering SmackDown because, let's be real, fuck SmackDown. Fuck SmackDown. The WWE product sucks. I will catch up on it later today, and I will re-watch the show when I deem fit. Of course, I do make myself aware of everything that's going on in the current world of professional wrestling. I did watch Rampage. I will be reviewing that, so don't worry about that. I see we got 13 people in here already. 13 people in here already. Man, it is rocking and rolling here. I appreciate all of you coming on in and hanging with me to talk about some professional wrestling. And trust me, based on the thumbnail, based on the title of the video as well, you are not going to want to miss a single second because I got a lot of shit to say about Sasha Banks and Naomi. Trust me on that. Trust me on that. But before we get into all of that, once again, thank you very much for stopping by, everybody. I greatly appreciate every single one of you. Shout out to Bam Cristiano. He was at the ISPW event, and he works there for the promoter, Tommy, and he actually watches the channel. So, Bam, if you're watching, shout out to you. I greatly appreciate you, and I hope to be back at the ISPW event sooner rather than later. You are fantastic, and I greatly appreciate all of your support. You're awesome. Keep on doing what you're doing. Never change, brother. But before we get into what we got to get into, the big story, obviously, first things first. If you guys have not already done so, please make sure to follow me on social media. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HistoryMakerDJS. That is at HistoryMakerDJS. 13 likes already. We aren't even 10 fucking minutes in the Holy shit. You guys are rocking and rolling. Keep on getting these people in here. You need to make sure everyone is aware that I'm live. But first things first. Follow me on social media, on Twitter and Instagram at HistoryMakerDJS. Please make sure you add me on Facebook as well. For collaborations and business inquiries, please send me an email. My email is, of course, StormsTakeOver@gmail.com. Please like the official DJ Storms business page. Please do that. And I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms posse group on Facebook. That is, all of those links are in the description. If you haven't already checked them out, you can check them out now. You can check them out after the stream. Check them out whenever you want. Just go and check out all those links. It is vital. As I said, I gave you guys the rundown, the blueprint of all the uploads and all of the streams that I'm going to be doing over the course of the next 2 weeks. The Summer of Storms officially kicks off next week. Do not miss it. Do not miss it. But if you haven't already done so, please make sure you hit that like button when you come on in. It's ultra, ultra, ultra important. Helps me out, helps the channel out, helps everything regarding the DJ Storms brand out, please make sure that you go and hit that like button when you come on in, and you share the stream out. I want everybody to share the stream out on social media. Whatever social media platforms that you may use, whether it be Twitter, whether it be Instagram, whether it be Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever social media platforms that you may use, please make sure you share it out. That way we let everybody know that DJ Storms is live on YouTube, because everybody needs a little bit of DJ Storms in their life. Everybody does. DJ Storms keeps the blood pumping through everybody's veins. Remember that, people. Please make sure you hit the subscribe button as well. Boost up my subscriber count and hit that notifications bell with a huge coup de grace. That way you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, baby, it is the best time to be on YouTube, because it's the only time you're going to get to see this glorious sideburn and chin strap combination and this beautiful mustache right here. Earl Cole just joined the chat at the right time too, because we are about to light it up, baby. We're going to light it up on the channel right here, right now, with a little and a dash of and a whole lot of That's right, because like Campbell's soup, I'm so good. Everybody wants a piece of the Stormsmeister, people. Take a look at this. Take a look at this. Not only will you get to see this glorious sideburn chin strap combo, not only will you see this beautiful mustache, but you'll also see this picture-perfect fucking pompadour. Everybody loves a good pompadour. Everybody loves a man with a pompadour. Trust me on that. Trust me on that. Anyway. Enough of the chit-chat. Once again, I appreciate every single one of you. Earl Cole, Dylan Ketchum, Peanuts, Lisa, everybody. I greatly appreciate all of you. Please keep on sharing the stream out. Get as many people in here as possible. It is vital. But now we are now going to get into the meat and potatoes. We are going to get into the 4-course meal that we got going on over here on the channel, because the biggest piece of news this week was Sasha Banks and Naomi. Sasha Banks and Naomi. And I have waited a long time to talk about this. And I have waited a long time specifically because of the fact that I like to hold off on these big reports. And I really like to just sit back and wait until I get all of the proper information that I need, because something always ends up coming up one way or another. Something ends up coming up in which it just adds on top of the story. I don't like to make videos on news, rumors, and reports that happen right on the spot. I don't like to do that. I like to sit back. I like to wait, let things play out, and gather up all the information as I possibly can. That's why I'm actually very, very happy. I'm very, very happy that I wait, and I only do one stream a week. Unless, of course, there's a special occasion, like if there's a couple of pay-per-views, if I need to do a rewind, if I'm going to a special wrestling event and I do a vlog, i.e. ISPW, something like that. I'm actually glad, though, for the most part, I only do one stream a week. So that way I can sit back and gather up all the reports as I possibly can and gather up all the information regarding a big breaking story. Sasha Banks and Naomi. So at the beginning of Raw, WWE advertised a 6-pack challenge. 6-pack challenge was between Sasha Banks and Naomi themselves, along with Asuka, Becky Lynch, Doudrop, and Nikki ASH. This match was later changed to Asuka versus Becky in a one-on-one match where Asuka won and she advanced to fight Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's title at Hell in a Cell. And it was said live on camera that Sasha and Naomi actually walked out. It was said multiple times on camera that Sasha and Naomi actually walked out. They had Corey Graves call them unprofessional on commentary, which, by the way, no one should be going after Corey Graves for. Corey Graves was simply doing his fucking job. Corey's annoying as a commentator. Trust me, he is. And I've said that before. Corey Graves has become unbearable as a commentator ever since they started bringing his real-life relationship with Carmella to TV. But Corey was just doing his job. No one should be coming after Corey Graves. It was reported first by PW Insider that Sasha Banks walked out of Monday Night Raw due to creative frustrations with Vince McMahon. Sean Ross Sapp then later reported that it was actually both women, Sasha Banks and Naomi, that walked out. WWE then released a statement regarding these two women, and the statement said that the two women placed their titles on John Laurinaitis' desk as for feeling, quote-unquote, uncomfortable to work with some of the participants in the match despite rehearsing for 8 hours. Sean Ross Sapp then reported that Naomi was actually supposed to win the match by pinning Sasha Banks, and she would go on to fight Bianca Belair. WrestleVotes then tweeted out how tensions were building up all day leading up to the inevitable walkout. Dave Meltzer then reported, everybody was fucking reporting on this. Legitimately, every single major news source was reporting on this within hours, less than hours, throughout the entire duration of Monday Night Raw. Source after source after source after source, everybody was reporting on it. Dave Meltzer then reported that the frustrations had to do with contractual issues suspected on Sasha Banks' part, but Naomi left with her anyway. Then, this was the straw that broke the camel's back right here. This one right here is the big fucking report right here. PW Insider reported that Sasha Banks and Naomi were actually going to be used to put over the singles women's champions, with Naomi putting over Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks putting over Ronda Rousey, both matches taking place at Hell in a Cell. Ringside News then came out and reported that backstage, people did not feel sorry for Sasha Banks at all, and there was no sympathy on Sasha Banks' part herself. No one felt sorry for Sasha Banks at all. And then people even said that backstage, some individuals feel that Sasha Banks manipulated Naomi to walk out. Then it was finally brought to light on SmackDown where Michael Cole called Naomi and Sasha Banks disappointments. They called them embarrassments. They stripped them of the Women's Tag Team Championships and announced that a tournament will be held to crown new champions sooner rather than later. And needless to say, this shit has gotten everybody talking over the course of the last 5 days. I don't even know where to begin with this. I don't even know where to begin with this. I don't know why, but it seems like as we get further and further and further into the years, as the years go on, there comes more and more situations, more and more scenarios, more and more breaking news comes out in which I legitimately have no words for it. I don't even know where to begin. Coming from a guy that legitimately always has something to say, and everyone is well aware of that. I always have something to say, and I can't keep my fucking mouth shut. I legitimately always have something to say, and I can't keep my mouth shut. So, for these scenarios to keep on coming out in which I legitimately don't have any words to even start on the scenario, then that just goes to show you that there's a lot of shit going down in WWE backstage that is becoming absolutely fucking ridiculous. More and more ridiculous scenarios are coming to light, and I legitimately do not have any words to describe these scenarios and how ridiculous they really are. I don't know where to begin. Well, let's start with Sasha Banks and Naomi themselves. Let's talk about Sasha Banks and Naomi's careers. I don't give a shit whether you love Sasha Banks, whether you hate Sasha Banks, or who's your favorite, who's not your favorite. Sasha Banks has proven beyond a reasonable doubt that she is the best women's wrestler employed by WWE. Her selling, her character, her mic work, her wrestling, her intensity, the way that she carries herself, everything that went in to Sasha Banks, the character, everything that Sasha Banks does is damn near perfect. It's not completely perfect, but it's damn near perfect, and she has proven to everyone that she is the best women's wrestler employed by WWE, whether you like it or not. And it's about time that people start to acknowledge that fact. I'm sick and tired of people discrediting Sasha Banks just because they don't like her as a person. Sasha Banks is the best women's wrestler employed by the company. Sasha Banks helped transcend women's wrestling with Bayley down in NXT. Sasha Banks and Bayley were a part of one of the greatest, if not the best, women's wrestling match in WWE history. It may very well be one of the best women's wrestling matches, maybe even the best women's wrestling match ever to date. There has been no women's match outside of Asuka and Ember Moon that has come close to Sasha Banks and Bayley. Everything that went into that match, the story being told, the character development, the in-ring style, the story being told by both women in the ring, the emotion that just exuded from the crowd back at TakeOver Brooklyn 1, almost 7 years ago. That match was the greatest women's match in WWE history and maybe one of the greatest, if not the greatest women's match ever. Sasha Banks, from that point on, started to build a legacy for herself in which she could pretty much become the modern-day Lita, the modern-day Trish Stratus, and she could revolutionize women's wrestling. That right there started the trend in which women's wrestling was to be taken seriously. They started the women's wrestling revolution. And don't get me wrong, there are some great talent that WWE has seen over the years, but I don't think anybody would have been able to do what Sasha Banks and Bayley did. Bayley and Sasha just complemented each other so fucking well. Sasha Banks was a part of that. Then she gets called up to the main roster after a great run in NXT. She gets called up to the main roster, and every single chance that she gets to showcase to everyone what she can really do, every single time she was given the opportunity to be the woman, she constantly had her legs cut out from underneath her. The rug was always pulled out from underneath Sasha Banks. Every single time Sasha held the championship, she would lose it within 30 days. She would lose it in her first title defense. So much so, it happened so often that it became a running gag. It became a running meme on social media and in WWE. She had a terrible feud with Charlotte Flair in which they flip-flopped the title back and forth and back and forth. It devalued the Raw Women's title. No one looked good except for Charlotte Flair because she came out the winner in the end. And then Sasha Banks, 8 months later, she finally got another shot at the title against Alexa Bliss at SummerSlam, and she won, only to lose it back to Alexa Bliss 8 days later, and then she transitioned into a role where she was putting everybody else over, and she wasn't reaping any benefits. She put over Sarah Logan, Nia Jax, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, Asuka. She was putting over everybody, yet she was receiving nothing in return. She was pretty much made into a glorified enhancement talent, and for nearly 2 fucking years, she faced the Riot Squad over and over and over again every week on Raw in 6-woman tag team matches, and she would always be on the losing end of big matches. Sasha Banks was always shafted. Sasha and Bayley were relegated to the fucking WrestleMania pre-show in a meaningless women's battle royal when Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax fought for the Raw Women's Championship, and that match fucking sucked. That match fucking sucked. Then, after nearly 2 years, finally, Finally, Sasha Banks and Bayley at the time, because Bayley was in the same position as Sasha Banks up until 2 years ago. Finally, Sasha Banks gets her just due, or so we thought at least. We have the women's tag team titles being introduced. Don't know why they were introduced. No one was really asking for them. There was really no agenda from anybody. It was a very, very lukewarm narrative and a very lukewarm agenda, a very lukewarm campaign. Very few people were legitimately asking for the women's tag team titles. But regardless, we got women's tag team titles anyway. We got the match for the Elimination Chamber in which Sasha Banks and Bayley, they ended up becoming the first ever women's tag team champions. And right then and there, everyone thought, finally, we get something. Finally, Sasha Banks gets her just due. They were promised matches down in NXT defending those championships. They were promised a lucrative reign in which they could hold those titles, make them feel prestigious, and establish a resume with those championships where they are to be taken seriously from this point forward. And what did WWE do? They had them lose the titles to the Iconics at WrestleMania 35. I don't give a shit whether you love the Iconics, whether you have met them personally, whether you know them personally, whether you're related to them. I don't give a shit what association or affiliation you have with the Iconics. The Iconics suck. The Iconics are two of the worst women's wrestlers in the entire history of professional wrestling. They made everything that they were in that much worse. They were two shit stains on the pants of the Impact Women's Wrestling division when they were there. So much so that they legitimately made me not want to give Impact a chance. I was trying to give them a chance, and then ultimately, boom, in comes the inspiration, the Iconics, and I said, fuck this, I'm not watching women's wrestling to see the Iconics. Their offense is terrible, their characters are annoying, and not the good type of annoying. It's go away, Heat. You fucking idiots. Their wrestling is terrible, their offense is weak. So much so, I praised to high heavens. I was praising the good Lord when I found out on social media that they were gone and they were leaving the industry. Good riddance, you will not be missed. The industry is much better without you. Goodbye, Billy Kay. Goodbye, Peyton Royce. They dropped the titles within 7 weeks to the Iconics, did Bayley and Sasha Banks, and the Iconics, right then and there, killed those championships. The titles, dead to rights. No one gave a shit. Those titles meant nothing. And ever since the Iconics defeated Sasha Banks and Bayley, every single individual that has held those championships, no one has given a single fuck about them. Nobody. Absolutely nobody. Nobody. Sasha Banks, from that point on, she had to leave. She had to leave. She had to leave because WWE killed her passion. She went to Japan to reignite that fire, to rejuvenate that passion. Bayley rose to prominence in her absence, and Bayley went on to become the longest reigning SmackDown Women's Champion in history, and she went on to have a great heel run. Sasha Banks and her passion were destroyed. Her passion was destroyed after so many instances in which the championship was put on her only for her to lose it 30 days later. The rug was constantly pulled out from underneath her, and she never got the proper opportunity to have a long, luxurious reign as the champion. Why is it that Charlotte Flair gets 15 women's championships? Why is it that Bayley gets 380 days as the champion? Why is it that Becky Lynch gets 400 days as women's champion, but Sasha Banks doesn't get jack shit? Meanwhile, Sasha is the best one out of all of those individuals. Her passion was destroyed. Her passion was destroyed, and she goes to Japan to reignite that passion. She comes back. She has a great series of matches with Becky Lynch. And then, finally, after 5 years on the main roster, finally, Sasha Banks gets the opportunity to showcase to us what she can really do as she and Bayley become the two women power trip, the golden role models. And they carried WWE. They made WWE watchable. They made WWE somewhat tolerable during the pandemic, in the dead center, the dead of the pandemic, from the spring to the summer of 2020, where they were operating in an empty performance center down in Florida. Sasha Banks and Bayley were WWE. They carried the fucking company across both brands on their backs. As the women's tag team champions, they became both singles champions, and Sasha Banks and Bayley, they were everything that we loved about WWE at that time. They were the best thing in all of WWE, period. And then after that, we finally, after all this fucking time, we finally get the fucking feud that we wanted. Sasha and Bayley, it's at the right place, at the right time, inside Hell in a Cell for the SmackDown Women's Championship. And Sasha Banks wins the championship from Bayley in a great match. And finally, Sasha has gotten her just due. Now we're off to the races. And finally, after all this time, Sasha Banks gets a run with the title. But even then, she held it for a decent amount of time, around 167 days, around 6 months. But even then, they didn't even book her all that well. She was fighting Carmella. She lost in non-title matches to Carmella. She was getting pinned by Nia Jax while she was fighting alongside Bianca for the fucking Women's Tag Team Championships. Meanwhile, she's the SmackDown Women's Champion, and that should be your number one priority. She does everything in her power to get over Bianca Belair. She can't make SummerSlam for whatever fucking reason. We still don't know why. She can't make SummerSlam. And then, all of a sudden, Becky Lynch comes back, buries Bianca Belair in 26 seconds, pretty much erasing everything that Sasha Banks did and making Sasha Banks look like a fucking scrub after Bianca beat her and Sasha put Bianca over. Sasha Banks comes back. She doesn't even win the SmackDown Women's Championship back. And then what happens? Then she stays on SmackDown. Charlotte gets drafted over to SmackDown. Her and Becky ridiculously switch championships. And now we're finally in a scenario where, okay, now Sasha Banks could possibly get her first ever WrestleMania victory. Sasha Banks could finally get her first ever WrestleMania victory. Sasha was supposed to fight Charlotte at WrestleMania 38. Sasha was supposed to win that match. Sasha was supposed to be the SmackDown Women's Champion. That was supposed to be Sasha Banks' first ever win. What happened? WWE, let's bring back Ronda Rousey. We need those merch sales. Oh, the ratings are going to go up. People love Ronda Rousey. Fox wants Ronda Rousey. Okay, Fox, we'll get you Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey is rumored to come back. WWE is working on that to please Fox. Charlotte Flair hears about it. Charlotte Flair politicked her way into a match with Ronda Rousey because she knew that Ronda Rousey was going to be brought back. We get the match. It fucking sucked. Sasha Banks is fucking shafted yet again. She is given the women's tag team titles with Naomi, and they are complete afterthoughts. They're complete fucking afterthoughts. They do nothing with those titles. Naomi is in the same boat as Sasha Banks. Naomi is better than the majority of people that they've pushed. She's better than Ronda. She's better than Alexa. She's better than Becky. She's better than Charlotte. I don't give a shit whether you like that or not. It's a fucking fact. Naomi is better than all of those individuals from an in-ring perspective. When you give Naomi the opportunity to go out there and showcase to us what she can really do, Naomi knocks it out of the fucking park. I have said it numerous amounts of times. Naomi has been the MVP of WWE's women's division all fucking year. She's been the MVP of the women's division all year. Her match with Rhea, her match with Sonya, her match with Charlotte. She has killed it, knocked it out of the park. Home run every single time. Every single time. Naomi has been there longer than all of those individuals. Yet all of those individuals have the long, stacked resumes that are worthy of being in the Hall of Fame. Naomi barely has a fucking resume to showcase for her time over there and all the work that she's put in. She started out in the Divas era, and year over year, she worked her fucking ass off to get better. And year over year, we saw the progression of Naomi, And that right there made people gravitate towards Naomi because of how much work she put in to make herself, her character, her in-ring work better year over year. Yet she barely has anything to showcase for it. She had 2 measly SmackDown women's title reigns, one of which was cut short due to injury. She ended up coming back from injury sooner than expected. She won the title at WrestleMania, and then she had a meaningless 5 months title reign in which she defended the title against Lana 3 times. Those were fucking terrible. Those matches were awful. She defended against Lana 3 times, and then after she lost it to Natalya at SummerSlam, she never received another championship reign again up until this year. I don't even know what the fuck Naomi did between 2017 and now when she lost that fucking title. I don't even remember what the fuck she did, if I'm going to be real. It's all such a dull blur. It's like she just stood around in catering doing nothing. 5 years without a championship. 5 years. I don't even think she got a championship opportunity. Meanwhile, she's better than all of the top stars, minus Sasha, Bayley, Ember Moon, and Asuka that they've pushed to the top. She's better than Alexa, Ronda, Becky, Charlotte. Yet she's shafted. Why? She's married to the Anoa'i family. Is that not enough for you? You push Charlotte Flair to the top because her last name is Flair. She doesn't look like Alexa Bliss, so you gotta fucking push her down the ladder? Few twists and turns, and that leads us to today. So let me ask you a question. For anybody that is calling Sasha Banks and Naomi ungrateful, spoiled, unprofessional, disappointing, embarrassing, for anyone that is calling them these ignorant, repulsive, appalling phrases, let me ask you a question. After everything that I just named you in the last 15 to 20 minutes, after everything that I just said and all the bullshit that went through, everything that they have gone through over the course of the last 5+ years, what the fuck do you expect them to do? How the fuck do you expect them to react? You expect them to just sit there with their hands folded and say, okay, we'll do what you say. Yeah, you treat us like shit, but we'll do what you say, Vince. No problem, Bruce. You don't give a shit about women's wrestling, but we'll do what you say. You expect them to sit there like fucking puppets and take that shit? And just let them control themselves? Let WWE control them. That's pretty much what you're saying. The six-pack challenge. The six-pack challenge. Why the fuck were Sasha and Naomi even placed in this six-pack challenge? Why were they even placed in there? Look at all the other women you had. You had Carmella, Queen Zelina, you had Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Tamina, Dana Brooke. You have no problem bringing over talent from SmackDown to put on Raw. If you brought Sasha and Naomi over, why couldn't you have brought over Shayna Baszler, or Natalya, or Xia Li, or Aaliyah, or Shotzi, Raquel Rodriguez, Gonzalez, whatever the fuck you want to call her? Why did it have to be Sasha and Naomi? Why did it have to be Sasha and Naomi when they are the women's tag team champions and they are trying to build prestige for those championships? Better yet, why the fuck did the six-pack challenge even need to happen? 75% of the women that were originally supposed to be involved in this six-pack challenge shouldn't even be there. They haven't earned their way into shit. Should have been Asuka and Becky Lynch from the jump if you wanted to do a number one contenders match, because those two are the top two females who are feuding with Bianca. Why the fuck was this six-pack challenge even a thought? Should have never taken place. And if it did need it to take place, you shouldn't have picked Sasha and Naomi. Then Naomi was supposed to win by pinning Sasha, so you are actively trying to split them up and teasing the breakup. Meanwhile, they've barely even done it. They haven't done anything with the women's tag team championships. They haven't done jack shit with those titles. Now you're already teasing a breakup, and you want them to put over the singles champions? You want Naomi to put over Bianca, and you want Sasha to put over Ronda Rousey, yet you're calling them unprofessional and embarrassing? Meanwhile, you are putting them in a scenario where they're not going to look good and they're the fucking champions. Are you fucking for real right now? Are you for real? If this was inevitably going to happen, and this is the problem with WWE, this is what happens when you don't have a long-term vision and a long-term plan. This is what happens. Shit gets crossed, paths are intertwined, and everything becomes overly convoluted. Why the fuck is Sasha Banks and Naomi in a position where they're fighting the singles champions when they were the women's tag team champions to begin with? If this was going to be the plan, why did you give them the women's tag team championships? Couldn't have given it to Shayna Baszler and Natalya. You couldn't have given it to Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. You couldn't have had Queen Zelina and Carmella retain. Why did it have to be Sasha and Naomi if they were going to fight the singles champions and inevitably lose? Better yet, why the fuck do the women's tag team titles even exist? I've been saying this since day one. A lot of people have, actually. It's not just me. I'm not fighting this battle alone. A lot of people, content creators, podcasters, YouTubers, and fans alike, have been asking the same question. Why the fuck do the titles even exist if you're not going to treat them as they should be treated? Why the fuck do they exist if this is going to be the way that you are going to treat them, and people are just going to be, oh yeah, you're just going to carry the belts? There's no division, and the women's division, they're not cut out for women's tag team championships. No promotion, I'm sorry. Unless it's an all-women's promotion, no fucking promotion with a women's division should have women's tag team titles. They do not work. It's not necessary. Even Impact can't get it right. Every single time I see Impact Wrestling with the Knockouts tag team titles, I think to myself, oh shit, this is a fucking bathroom break. No promotion outside of fucking Stardom should have women's tag team championships. I'm sorry. WWE actually did what AEW is doing right now. They instituted a secondary women's championship. It's called the Smackdown Women's Championship. Now, you have two separate titles, two separate divisions. You had more opportunities. You had the groundwork. You had the blueprint, but you never embraced the brand split. And you pushed the same fucking people over and over and over and over again. You never embraced the brand split. So what makes you think that we're supposed to have faith in you that you're going to embrace women's tag team championships? You didn't. I don't give a shit about agendas. I don't give a shit about fandom. I don't give a shit about fantasies. The women's tag team title should have never been created from the jump. It was a lukewarm agenda by a bunch of blithering idiots for fans that should have never come to reality. I'm sorry. The truth is the truth. Sorry if that pisses you off, but it's factual. Deal with it. Fucking deal with it. Then WWE released this stupid fucking statement. Now, I do believe that they placed those titles on John Laurinaitis' desk because here's the thing. If you are going to treat us like enhancement talents, if you are going to treat these titles like shit when we're actively trying to make them prestigious, even though they're never going to make those titles prestigious, those titles have been dead for years. But if they're actively trying because they're passionate about their work, they're passionate about pro wrestling, don't you think that they have every single right to say, fuck you, we're walking out if you're not going to treat these titles and the division with the proper respect that they deserve? They placed the titles on John Laurinaitis' desk. Good. That's something I can see them doing, but feeling uncomfortable with working with some of the participants, that is bullshit. That is bullshit. Now, the report by Meltzer regarding the contractual issue. Now, I do believe that there is a contractual issue involved because both women's contracts are set to expire soon. I believe in August of 2022, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's when I believe both women's contracts will expire. But as far as them holding the titles when their contract is about to expire, I don't necessarily think that that would be the issue. That wouldn't be the issue at all, actually. Yes, their contracts are set to expire, but that doesn't negate the fact that WWE decided to give the titles to them anyway. If WWE felt that this was an issue, that their contracts were coming up, then they shouldn't have given them the titles to begin with. So I don't see the contractual issue as something that has any bearing on what's going on over here. It probably has a bearing as to why they walked out, because they know that they can get away with it, and they're going to have to fight like hell, but at the end of the day, their contracts are coming up, so now they could use this as leverage to get what they want from WWE, because WWE has not given anyone the proper treatment. And I've said this time and time and time again. I've said this time again. WWE does not give a shit about their employees. They don't. Unless your name is Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey, the Usos, and I guess we can include Cody. He's been booked perfectly, but I don't expect that to last at all. I guess we can include Cody, but I don't know how long that's going to last. But outside of those 9 individuals, out of the 100 plus individuals that are employed by that company, no one has been treated with the proper amount of respect. Everyone has been treated as if they are expendable. Everyone has been treated as if they are pieces of trash. And that is fucked up. You pretty much want them to go into Hell in a Cell as the women's tag team champions and lose to the singles champions, pretty much relegating the women's tag team titles meaningless. So they're pretty much telling Sasha, Naomi, and the fans and everyone backstage that the championships that Sasha and Naomi are holding don't mean jack shit. And some people actually have the gall, the nerve to call these two women unprofessional, ungrateful, spoiled. Go fuck yourselves. Go fuck yourselves. It's not about winning. It's not about losing. It's not about any of that. It's not about money. It's not about contracts. It's about the overall state of the women's division. It's about talent being treated the right way. It is about the talent who bust their fucking ass off to make themselves mean something and make the fucking titles mean something, because WWE doesn't do jack shit to make their titles mean something unless it's on Roman Reigns. It's about everyone employed in that locker room with a burning passion for professional wrestling that makes every single match that they have mean something, that wants to have a long, luxurious career. It's about the individuals that break their fucking backs night in and night out for our entertainment. And you individuals, you don't do jack shit to showcase to them that you legitimately appreciate them. That is fucked up. It has nothing to do with entitlement. It has nothing to do with selfishness. It has nothing to do with unprofessionalism. People have the gall to call Sasha Banks and Naomi unprofessional. WWE is the most unprofessional company on the planet. Have you even paid attention to anything that's been going on for the last X amount of fucking years? But Sasha and Naomi are unprofessional? This is the same company that had the New Day break Demolition's tag team title record because Demolition was going through a lawsuit with WWE at the time. This is the same company that fired CM Punk on his wedding day and then months later jobbed out his wife to Nikki Bella at Survivor Series in 25 seconds because CM Punk walked out on them. This is the same company that took Lana and had Nia Jax put her through a fucking table for 2 months straight because Miro came out on AEW television and said to WWE, you could take the brass ring and shove it up your ass. WWE, year after year, has proven that they are as unprofessional as it gets. It's about women's wrestling being treated well. This is a company that does not want women's wrestling to be treated well, unless you look like an OnlyFans model like Alexa Bliss. Did you even listen to the interview that Tony Storm had with Fightful, I believe it was? I believe it was Fightful. I don't know who interviewed Tony Storm. It may have been Sean Ross Sapp, but Tony Storm had an interview with Fightful, I believe, and she said that her being pied in the face on SmackDown during her feud with Charlotte wasn't the original plan. Her original plan was to have her shirt ripped off, so she would have been in her fucking underwear on live television. Yes, I get that may be every straight guy's dream, but that is not what I want to watch when I am watching a professional wrestling show. I don't want to see something on a wrestling show that I would see on Pornhub. I want to see two women go out there and beat the shit out of each other because they want to be the best pure athlete on the roster. I want to feel like when I am watching women's wrestling that these women could beat the shit out of anyone. I want to feel like these women can beat the shit out of me when I'm watching women's wrestling. And that's exactly what I watched when I saw Toni Storm and Jamie Hayter have their match. That's exactly what I watched last night when I saw Chris Statlander and Red Velvet have a match. That was a very good fucking match. That is what I want out of women's wrestling. That is what women's wrestling should be about. John Laurinaitis and Bruce Pritchard, they don't want women's wrestling to be about that. They want it to be about 2-minute matches. They want it to be about women who wear very little clothing. Just look at what Toxic Attraction has been made into. Toxic Attraction is nothing more than an OnlyFans model group on a pro wrestling show because that's what WWE has made them into. Meanwhile, I actually believe that they are actually 3 pretty decent fucking professional wrestlers that could showcase to us what they could really do if they're actually given the fucking opportunity to do so. And then people have the balls to say that Sasha manipulated Naomi? Are you out of your fucking mind? Yeah, as if Naomi is not her own person. As if Naomi cannot think for herself. As if Naomi does not have the ability to make her own decisions. As if Naomi doesn't have a reason to be frustrated. As if Naomi is the fucking scarecrow from The Wizard of Oz. I would dance and be merry, life would be a ding-a-dairy if I only had a brain. Yeah, that's Naomi. That's Naomi, right? She can't make a decision on her own. Why the fuck is all this hate coming out against Sasha Banks? Why isn't anyone in support of Sasha Banks? Why is it that no one's in support of these women other than individuals that are no longer with the fucking company anymore? Bill DeMott even came out and he tweeted that, yeah, you want to call Sasha and Naomi unprofessional. You want to call them an embarrassment, but yet Sunny, a.k.a. Tammy Sitch, has multiple DUIs, a suspended license. She's a fucking criminal walking among us, yet she is still in the fucking Hall of Fame. You have the balls not to support Sasha Banks, but yet when you feel mistreated, you do not expect anyone. You expect everyone to come to your defense, but you're not coming to Sasha Banks and Naomi's defense. Fuck you. Fuck you. If you are not in favor and you are not backing Sasha and Naomi, you are part of the fucking problem. You're exactly why the WWE treats their talent like shit. You are exactly why. You are exactly why everyone involved with WWE is treated like an afterthought. You are exactly why the WWE product is as shit as it is. You are the problem if you are not backing Sasha Banks and Naomi. How fucking dare you call these women entitled? How dare you call these women unprofessional? How dare you call them a disappointment? Meanwhile, WWE disappoints us every fucking week. How dare you assholes not back these women after everything that they've been through and after everything that they've had to go through just to even stomach being in the WWE and stomach being on television in these manners in which they are constantly shafted for other people who aren't as good as they are. If you know that you are talented and you are not treated well, you have every fucking right to get up and walk out and say fuck you to these douchebags that are mistreating you. And then, to top it all off, they strip Sasha Banks and Naomi of the Women's Tag Team Championships, and they institute a vacancy for the championships, and now we're going to get a fucking tournament. As if, yeah, that's really going to help. That's really going to help everyone within the WWE Women's Division. Yeah, that's really going to spark up some real passionate women's wrestling. Yeah, that's going to generate some interest in every single individual that watches WWE. Yeah, we want a tournament for the Women's Tag Team Championships. Yeah, that's really going to help, right? No one gave a shit about the titles when Sasha and Naomi had them. What makes you think that they're going to care about them now that they're not on Sasha Banks and Naomi, and a new team is going to get those titles at some point in the near future? How can anyone even conceive a thought that these two titles will be cared about whenever new champions are crowned? The titles should be retired, abolished, and burned in a furnace immediately. They mean nothing. We don't need women's tag team titles. We need better creative for the women's division and the entire WWE product in general. We need better creative for the women's division, tag team division, mid-card, and main event scene. But the women's division especially. The women's division especially. And they suspend them. They suspend them. Guarantee you they'll probably freeze their contracts. They're probably going to try everything in their power to negotiate with Sasha and Naomi. Do we see a lawsuit form? I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know what's going to happen with either of these two individuals. But if you ask me, if I was these two individuals, I would walk. I would walk. I hope to God that they do walk. And for anyone that actually believes that these individuals wouldn't go somewhere else, oh, Sasha Banks, he's never going AEW, motherfucker, this woman has a passion for professional wrestling that is as hot as the fucking sun. That's what WWE doesn't want. They don't want individuals who are passionate about pro wrestling. They want to destroy the passion for everyone until A, they are company-wide shills that defend everything that the WWE product does, and they're simply collecting a paycheck like Seth Rollins. Listen, Seth Rollins is one of the greatest superstars of the modern era. No one is going to deny that. No one will ever deny the fact that Seth Rollins is one of the greatest superstars of the modern era. First ballot Hall of Famer. He's done everything there is to do. He could retire tomorrow. He'll go into the Hall of Fame. But Seth Rollins, he is a WWE dick rider right down to the very last letter. He's a WWE dick rider. He's got Vince McMahon's dick so far up his own ass that every single time Rollins brushes his teeth, Vince McMahon's dick gets a bubble bath. Rollins is a WWE cock licker. Sasha's not that type of person. She's not just going to drop her pants and take Vince's dick up the ass. They either want to kill the passion of all the employees that work for them until A, they become shills and merely work for a paycheck, or their passion is killed so much that they leave the wrestling industry altogether. They did it with CM Punk. They recently did it with Wyatt, and they've done it with Sasha Banks before. But Sasha Banks did not allow that passion to die. I'm stuttering over my fucking words. I'm like shooting shit out of my mouth at 1,000,000 miles an hour. I am fucking pissed beyond belief right now. Sasha did not allow her passion to die. She rejuvenated that passion. You don't think that Sasha Banks is going to do that again and go out of her way to rejuvenate that passion, even if she does go to Hollywood? Don't you think that maybe it's about time that we acknowledge the fact that Sasha Banks and Naomi, they don't need WWE. WWE needs them. Don't you think that it's about time that everybody wakes the fuck up? If anything, Sasha didn't manipulate Naomi. She opened Naomi's eyes. Everyone should be acting like Sasha and Naomi. Everybody. People need to realize that they don't need WWE. WWE needs them, because without them, WWE can't put on a show. What's Vince McMahon going to do? Have Roman Reigns cut a promo on Brock Lesnar for the entire 2-hour duration of SmackDown? Is he going to have Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch wrestle for the entire 3-hour show on Monday Night Raw? Yeah, that's really going to keep the ratings up. That's really going to spark up interest in the product, right? The employees that work for WWE, they don't need WWE. WWE needs them. WWE needs Sasha. WWE needs Naomi, not the other way around. Whether you want to admit it or not, it is a fact. Don't like it? Suck my cock. Plain and simple. If you don't think Sasha Banks and Naomi would easily contemplate going to another promotion because they are passionate about their work and they want their careers to mean something at the end of the day, you got another thing coming. These women would absolutely want to go to another company, whether it be Impact, NWA, House of Glory, Ring of Honor, AEW. You don't think a Sasha Banks wants to go and test the waters over there in AEW? You don't think she wants to go over there and face a Toni Storm, a Thunder Rosa, a Mercedes Martinez, Chris Statlander, Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, Red Velvet, Jade Cargill? You don't think she wants to go to Impact and fight a Tasha Steelz? Or she doesn't want to go to NWA or House of Glory and fight a Natalia Markova? You don't think that these individuals, these two women, want to go out and branch out and build a resume for themselves as far as professional wrestling relates? Sasha Banks has made her name in WWE. She does not need them at all. Neither does Naomi. So if I'm them, I hope to God that they walk. That will send a message. That would absolutely send a message. And I hope that many people would follow in their footsteps. Now is not the time for any of these agendas. Now is not the time for spreading hateful agendas against Sasha. Now is not the time for calling them unprofessional. Now is not the time for bashing them as far as how they are in their personal lives. Now is not the time to do any of that shit. Now is a time where we all need to stand up and be united as one against WWE for everything that not only that they've done to Sasha and Naomi, but everything that they've done to every other talent before Sasha Banks and Naomi that they've mistreated. Now's the time that we need to be united as one, standing behind Sasha and Naomi against WWE, because WWE is actively ruining the professional wrestling industry. I've even seen people that hate the fact that I'm still alive supporting Sasha Banks and Naomi. That's how you fucking know that Sasha Banks and Naomi are in the right. If people are on the same side as I am. Enough is enough. If you are not backing Sasha and Naomi, you are the fucking problem. And if you try to negate, try to refute, try to deny anything that I just said in the last 45 minutes that I've been talking about it. We are over an hour and I'm still talking about one fucking topic. If you try and negate anything that I just said, you are part of the problem. You need to get the fuck out of the wrestling community. There is no room for you here in the wrestling community. Stop the bullshit. Acknowledge the truth. Stand up, take a stand, and realize, open your fucking eyes. Sasha and Naomi are not in the wrong. Everything that they did, everything that went into this entire story leading up to the walkout, they are 100% justified in doing what they did. WWE is the unprofessional ones. WWE is the disappointment. WWE is the embarrassment. They caused this. They brought it on themselves. And I hope to fucking God that Sasha and Naomi walk out, because they are not going to get what they want if they stay with WWE. No matter how much leverage that they may have, they're not going to get what they want. Maybe Naomi has a little bit more leverage because she is related to Roman Reigns via marriage. She married Jimmy Uso, who's related to Roman, who's related to The Rock. So maybe Naomi has a little bit more leverage, but I don't know. I don't know what the fuck's going to happen. I'm pretty sure we're going to find out more and more reports as the days go on, and we're going to find out a lot. We're going to find out a lot of material as we get deeper and deeper and deeper into the spring and summer months. Summer's already upon us. Are they going to be back by the fall? Will they resign? I don't know. Just going to have to wait and see. But regardless of that, Sasha and Naomi did nothing wrong. It's time that we stand as one against WWE, cut the bullshit narrative, cut the shit that Sasha Banks manipulated Naomi, cut the shit. Acknowledge the truth and stick with it. I've acknowledged it. I've stuck with the truth. It's about time that everyone else does too. Sasha and Naomi are in the right here. They did nothing wrong. Fuck WWE for what they did to them. I hope to God that they walk. We're over an hour. Over an hour, and we got plenty more material to discuss. I'm pretty sure this is not going to be the only time that I'm going to rant throughout this stream. We may even go 3 hours today. But I'd like to hope that I at least reached out to somebody. I'd like to hope that I at least educated someone. I'd like to believe that I hope at least I opened the eyes of one person. I like to believe I educated one person and made you all just a little bit more intelligent after that 45-minute rant. Here's another one. I'm not even done yet. Eric Bischoff. How fucking stupid is Eric Bischoff? Eric Bischoff, he trashed CM Punk on his 83 Weeks podcast after Punk called him out last week. Eric Bischoff said, and I quote on his 83 Weeks podcast, in terms of a return on investment, this guy has to be the biggest financial flop in the history of wrestling. Stupid. I don't even know. I don't even know where to begin with this. Again, just like the Sasha and Naomi scenario. Camillo, no, it's not a work. It's not a work. Sasha and Naomi walking out is not a work. Do not come at me with that bullshit. It is not a work. I don't want to hear that shit at all. One more word out of you regarding that it's a work, and you're going to get blocked. But Eric Bischoff, in terms of a return on investment, this guy has to be the biggest financial flop in the history of wrestling. Really? Biggest financial flop. Where? Biggest financial flop? I can't even begin to tell you how delusional Eric Bischoff really is. Eric Bischoff is the podcasting version of Vince McMahon. He don't know jack shit. He is still stuck in the fucking 90s. And I want everybody to understand something here. WCW and how they rose to prominence and the fact that they beat Raw for 83 weeks in the ratings, that was dumb luck. It was dumb luck. I want everyone to understand there is no way that a new company can come out of the gates, out of nowhere, and just beat an established company for 83 weeks in the ratings right out of the gates. That shit is a 1 in a million type of scenario. That shit is a once in a blue moon type of scenario. That shit never happens. WCW was one of the very few exceptions to the written rule of establish yourself over time and you will become a major success as time has gone on. That's what AEW is doing right now. There's no way that AEW was going to come on in and become another WCW. WCW succeeded because of dumb luck. WCW succeeded because of dumb luck. AEW did not catch dumb luck. AEW needs to work. WWE was already the established company. WWE didn't just come out of nowhere and they were pulling in all these mega ratings right out of the gate. They needed to establish themselves. AEW needs to do the same thing. They need to establish themselves and work until they are the top of the line. And year over year, the ratings will go up. The audience will increase. Everything is going to be just fine with AEW. WCW, they succeeded and they beat Raw in the ratings for 83 weeks because they were fucking lucky. Eric Bischoff just so happened to be the luckiest fucking man on the face of the planet. There's no fucking way that we're going to get back to 8 million, 9 million, 10 million people watching professional wrestling. There's no way. No way. Okay? No way. When it comes to professional wrestling and cable television in general is dying. Cable television in general is fucking dead. Streaming is the fucking future. Do you realize how many fucking shows have migrated over to streaming? Paramount Plus, Peacock, Netflix, Hulu, Roku, whatever the fuck streaming platform that you may have. Everything has migrated over to streaming and will continue to migrate over streaming. Pretty soon, our televisions will be looked at as gigantic cell phones. Pretty soon, our televisions will be looked at as gigantic cell phones. Cable television is dying as we speak. Biggest financial flop in wrestling history, really. So we're going to negate the fact that we will see CM Punk. He showed up on Rampage, the first dance. And what happened? CM Punk broke Pro Wrestling Tees. CM Punk broke Pro Wrestling Tees, and he completely shouted the site with his new t-shirt. Oh, by the way, Camilo, you're fucking blocked. I told you not to walk the line. I told you to cut the bullshit. You didn't listen. You're fucking blocked. Camilo, suck my balls. There you go. CM Punk broke Pro Wrestling Tees with his new t-shirt. How much money do you think Tony Khan made off that one fucking instance with CM Punk in the first dance? He sold out the United Center on a mere prayer. He sold out the United Center based off of speculation, but yet CM Punk's not a draw. He broke Pro Wrestling Tees, but yet CM Punk's not a draw. He gave Rampage the only 1 million rating that Rampage has ever seen. Oh yeah, but CM Punk is not a draw, right? What about Hook? CM Punk is responsible for single-handedly getting Hook over. CM Punk got Hook over with two simple words. Send Hook. It became a fucking meme, and Hook actually beat out CM Punk. He beat out CM Punk in the ratings, in the t-shirt sales on Pro Wrestling Tees when his shirt finally came out. But CM Punk's not a draw. He single-handedly is responsible for all of Hook's success. CM Punk's not a draw, though. What about this fact right here? CM Punk's been a part of 3 pay-per-views. CM Punk has been a part of 3 pay-per-views ever since his debut with All Elite Wrestling. And All Out, Full Gear, and Revolution. They are numbers 1, 2, and 3 as far as the top 3 most bought pay-per-views in AEW history thus far. But CM Punk is not a draw. Eric Bischoff is just jealous at this rate. Eric Bischoff is pissed off because CM Punk called him out for the carny old piece of shit that he is that doesn't know jack shit about wrestling. He is nothing more than a guy that is saying shit to get attention. And that is actually worse than the people that say this dumb shit and actually believe it. People that say the dumb shit and actually believe it, they're bad. But people that say this shit just to get a reaction, they are even worse. Eric Bischoff is just pissed off. He's salty. He's butthurt because Tony Khan is doing something that he could never do. Tony Khan is doing something that Eric Bischoff could never do. Tony Khan is building AEW as a long-term company. Eric Bischoff did not have a long-term vision. He didn't have a long-term plan. Tony Khan has a long-term vision. Tony Khan has a fucking long-term plan, and he's going to carry that shit out. And he has been generating a long-term plan brilliantly. CM Punk's going to be responsible for yet another television deal with TBS or TNT. CM Punk is going to be single-handedly responsible for the fact that AEW is going to boost the prices for their right fees. And they're going to get an easy $135 million right there. Tony Khan's essentially going to be able to afford whoever the fuck that he wants. He's going to be able to afford whoever the fuck he wants. Biggest financial flop in history. No, Eric, no. You are the biggest financial flop in pro wrestling history because you didn't know how to wisely spend your money. You fucked up with WCW. It's not anyone else's fault but your own. CM Punk has been generating millions of dollars ever since his debut. And it's time that you and many other people acknowledge that fact. Eric Bischoff is a fucking retard at the end of the day. He is a fucking retard. Pay him no attention. We have a lot more reports to go over, so hang tight. There was actually an interesting statement that kind of got overshadowed by the Sasha Banks and Naomi situation, but Zachary Green, the former Nash Carter, he recently just issued a statement on his WWE release. He sent out a picture on Twitter with a statement that read, and I quote, a statement by Zachary Green. No words can truly describe how ashamed and apologetic I am for my conduct in the photograph. There is no excuse for such behavior, and I take full responsibility for my actions and ask for forgiveness. This picture was taken in 2015, a time where I was uneducated on the topic and therefore didn't understand the magnitude of how hurtful it was. In 2020, someone was trying to extort me by threatening to post it on social media. I sent it to my wife to discuss the situation. Apparently, she kept it and then decided in retaliation for the filing of the divorce to post it to social media. Regardless how the photograph came to light, there is no excuse for my actions. Over the past month, I've taken time to reflect on my conduct, to which I express my utmost remorse and regret. I have spent time off social media to refresh and re-educate myself about the horrors of the Holocaust. I truly do hope that this situation will teach and bring awareness to the horrific tragedy that took place so that something like this will never happen again. I can assure you that this is not who I am or what I represent as a human being, and I feel it is never too late to educate and better yourself. If you are ever in the Orlando, Maitland area, take some time to visit the Holocaust Memorial Resource and Education Center of Florida, where you can learn about the history and depth of what took place. It was incredibly eye-opening and impactful experience that teaches the importance of this history. End quote. I'm glad that he issued a statement on this, and regardless of whether or not there is no excuse for that picture, obviously it was dumb, it was very stupid on his part. I'm glad that he acknowledged that. However, regardless of how uneducated he was at that time, no one should be posting private information on social media. Social media is not the fucking place in which crimes are to be confessed. Social media is not the place in which public figures or anyone at that should be confessing a crime that took place to them. If you feel as though you were wronged and you feel as though a crime was committed against you and it should be exposed, and the individual that committed this crime or the individual that wronged you should be persecuted, go to the fucking police. It's common fucking knowledge, whether it was a sexist issue, whether it was a hate crime issue, a murder, a rape, or anything like that, that shit should be taken to the fucking authorities. That should be taken to court. I don't give a shit what fucking excuse you want to bring. If Kimberly felt wrong, then she should have taken that shit to court. If you have a scenario like that in Nash Carter's incident, you shouldn't be trusting anybody. You shouldn't be trusting anybody at all. And if you are in a scenario where someone's posting pictures or anything on social media to defame you or harass you or try and ruin your career, that shit should be taken to the authority. Anything regarding shit like this should be taken directly to the authorities. Social media is not the fucking place for any of this shit. I don't give a shit what type of excuse you want to bring to the table. Shit like this should be kept off of social media. Anyone that does this shit on social media should be immediately suspended. Immediately suspended, never to return. Shit like this should not take place on social media. Nash Carter was in the wrong for being insensitive, but Kimberly was in the wrong for posting that picture. But I'm glad he made this statement, and I'm glad that he educated himself. And if I'm WWE, I would give Nash Carter, Zachary Green, I would give him another chance. I would hire him back, I would pair him back with Wesley, and I would give MSK yet another run as a tag team and put them on the main roster. Since the main roster clearly needs fucking tag teams, that's what I would do. I would not just sit around and let this just be a thing that it's never addressed. Wesley's going nowhere as a singles guy. Wesley and Nash Carter are better together than they are separately. If I'm WWE, I am absolutely giving Zachary Green a second chance. Will it happen? Probably not. Enzo was proven innocent, and they didn't hire him back. But I'm glad he made this. I'm glad that he made the statement, and I'm glad that he took time to reflect and educate himself on the scenario. So good on Zachary Green. Good on Nash Carter. I got a report regarding Madcap Moss. According to WrestlingNews.co, there have been pitches made in WWE to overhaul the presentation of Madcap Moss. This includes removing comedy elements, as well as giving him a new entrance theme and ring gear. However, Vince McMahon has not signed off on it. I don't know why, because if anything, this fucking needs to happen. Madcap Moss, as shitty as the gimmick may be, Madcap Moss actually has a lot of upside. He's got a great look. He can hold himself on the mic, and he's not bad in the ring at all. He could be a decent fucking mid-carder if you give him the proper material to work with. If you give him the opportunity and you give him the proper material to work with, Madcap Moss could be something. I'm not saying he's going to be a world champion. I'm not saying he's going to be the face of the company, but he could be a solid hand in a division, a mid-card division in which you need new fucking faces. I would not mind Madcap Moss getting a character overhaul, but why won't Vince McMahon change it? Because Vince McMahon likes it, apparently. Vince McMahon is just so fucking delusional and so fucking cheesy that he actually thinks that this shit is the way to go. He actually thinks that it's cool what Madcap Moss is doing. It's not. It's not. That shit right there is cheesy. That shit right there is lame. Shit like this should not be on WWE television. We need a serious storyline-driven show where professional wrestling is prominent. Enough of this sports entertainment, soap opera drama garbage. I hope to fucking God something happens. Now, Vince McMahon changes his mind at the drop of the dime. I hope to fucking God something happens that causes Vince McMahon to change his fucking mind, because shit needs to change with Madcap Moss. I actually do believe Madcap Moss has the potential to be something if WWE would give him the proper tools to work with. Give him a serious character. Give him a legit character in which he can get over. Rick Boogs. It's actually some good news right here. Rick Boogs. You know Rick Boogs. He got injured about a month and a half ago. Got injured about a month and a half ago. He was injured at WrestleMania 38. He tried to pick up the Usos, and his leg gave way. And he tore his patella, I believe. It may have been a patella issue. Either way, a knee injury is not good at all. He did provide an update. He did provide an update on his injury, and he is actually making great progress in a very quick amount of time. He stated in a video on his YouTube channel, and I quote, "I'm just doing machines at the gym." So he's working with machines at the gym, which is good. Like cookie cutter right now. That's all I can do. I can't use the lower extremity. You know what I'm saying? The horse leg. I've got to let that puppy heal. So look, if he's back in the gym and he's using the machines over there, then I guess we could say that it's healing up quite nicely. I guess we could say that it's healing up fairly decently. And that's a great thing. Because now with Rick Boogs gone, I feel like Shinsuke Nakamura is just a fucking afterthought. No one gives a shit about him. And it sucks because Nakamura could really have some great matches with the likes of Roman, with the likes of Ricochet, the likes of McIntyre, but they won't do that. They won't do that because they don't have any faith or trust in Nakamura. They won't do that because Nakamura is not a guy that they like. Nakamura is just a guy that's a mid-carder and undercarder for life over there, and it sucks. Nakamura should have been something more. But I'm glad. I'm glad that Rick Boogs is doing okay. And if he's back with Nakamura, I do think that they could very well end up winning the tag team titles at some point. Don't know when, but I do believe that they will. We'll see what happens. I got an update on Tessa Blanchard. Fightful provided an update on Tessa Blanchard's status with the Women of Wrestling promotion. Blanchard was conducting a promo class in which a few people actually spoke up about the verbiage that she used in her promo against Samantha Sage, and all acting classes were canceled from that point onward. Blanchard was no longer involved in those classes moving forward. Another source indicated that Tessa is no longer training the talent, and Selena Majors has been brought back to handle that moving forward. One former WoW superstar speculated that they believe Tessa is no longer with the company, but nothing has been confirmed. So now it's just coming out to light what exactly caused the falling out between Tessa Blanchard and Women of Wrestling. Whatever is going on over there, Tessa Blanchard clearly, A, she has an attitude problem, and B, she must have a sensitivity issue. Now, me, I say whatever the fuck I want. I am not hypersensitive to anything. I say whatever the fuck I want, and if you don't like it, you deal with it. But the difference is that this is something that I own. This is my own brand. I can do whatever the fuck I want. No one can tell me otherwise. No one can shut me down. I can do whatever the fuck I want because this is my brand. I run it. But if I'm working for another company, there's a code of conduct that I need to abide by. If I was working for an AEW, there are certain things that I need to remember not to say. I can't act how I'm acting on this show. I need to be professional. I need to be down to earth. I need to be respectful. Same thing with my job at work. There's a code of conduct. You got to be respectful. You can't say certain things. You can't talk about certain things because that is not what the office is for. Tessa Blanchard, obviously, she didn't think about what she was saying, and she obviously did not think about what it could do to others. And a few people spoke up, and boom, boom, she's gone. And originally, Women of Wrestling was supposed to be served as a Tessa Blanchard rehabilitation project. That shit went right out the window. At the end of the fucking day, Tessa Blanchard is the architect of her own defeat. She has a fucking attitude problem and a sensitivity issue. And if I'm her, I would acknowledge that shit sooner rather than later. And even if she does acknowledge it, and even if she does get the proper help that she needs regarding this sensitivity issue and regarding this attitude problem that she has, I still don't think any major promotion would bat an eye at her. I don't. It just doesn't seem likely. I do not see anything working out in Tessa Blanchard's favor. I don't. I think Tessa Blanchard's done. Tessa Blanchard is legitimately done. I don't even think Game Changer Wrestling will bat an eye at her. Tessa Blanchard is done. Tessa Blanchard is done, and she has nobody to blame but herself. What happens? That's what happens. Money in the Bank. It's my final report, and then we can move on to the weekly show reviews. I'm reviewing 3 weekly shows. We'll be able to get to that. So, Dave Meltzer. He discussed the Money in the Bank situation. And it was reported that Vince McMahon has the planned main events of WrestleMania already set, yet, the winners of Money in the Bank are not slated to main event WrestleMania 39. Yet it was stated in the ad for Money in the Bank by Cody Rhodes that the Money in the Bank ladder match, they have the briefcase, contract inside, a chance to main event WrestleMania. He said it in those exact words. Yet, Vince McMahon has the planned WrestleMania main events slated, yet neither of these main events have the Money in the Bank briefcase winners involved. Ringside News added on to Dave Meltzer's report by stating that the winners of both Money in the Bank matches are not slated to main event WrestleMania, and a tenured member of the creative team told them, and I quote, "No one knows why that is being said. The subject has been brought up in production and creative meetings, and it is unknown why they haven't addressed this on WWE TV yet. The site also confirmed that the only guaranteed title match is for the winner of the respective Royal Rumbles for the men and the women. This right here is just a scenario in which it just further proves my point as to why Vince needs to go. This is the hectic type of feeling backstage that should not be. Some people have even said it's hectic backstage with AEW. And you know what? I actually believe that, but that's only because this year it's been brought to light that there's just not enough hours of AEW TV time. This has been a main problem for AEW. There's not enough hours of AEW television time, and AEW either needs to do a 5 to 10 minute overrun with AEW Dynamite, or they need to move Rampage to Thursday and make it 2 hours. That shit has been made very, very, very obvious in the last couple of weeks. And it's an unfortunate set of circumstances, but unfortunately, with the roster that Tony Khan has assembled, there is just not enough television time. We need Ring of Honor to start up. We need Rampage to go to 2 hours. Then we'll have enough time. But as far as WWE goes, this situation just further proves the fact that Vince McMahon needs to go. If he's saying this shit, and this shit's being said in a Money in the Bank ladder match ad, yet the winners of Money in the Bank are not slated to main event WrestleMania, and the winners of the Rumble are, why is it being said? It's been brought up in production and creative team meetings, yet it is unknown why they haven't addressed it. Why haven't they addressed it? Are they legitimately doing this because they're trying to make it unpredictable? Are they falsely promoting the stipulation for Money in the Bank? What are they doing? It's fucking stupid. It's fucking stupid as to why this hasn't been addressed. Why exactly is it being said if this is not the plan? And it goes to show you how overly convoluted, how terrible the creative process backstage in WWE is. They don't even know what they want to do for Money in the Bank. Yet you are giving them the benefit of the doubt that they have had various long-term booking storylines with Sasha Banks and Naomi and fucking Bianca and Becky. That ain't long-term booking. That just goes to show you that it was dumb luck. Just like WCW rising to prominence. That was dumb luck. Shit needs to stop. This has to stop. Enough of this false advertisement. Enough of this, oh my God, it's all hectic backstage and no one knows why. I don't want to hear about that shit. I want to hear that WWE is a solid fucking plan in place for X amount of superstars, X amount of shows, the matches, etc., etc. If anything, this report just goes to show you that Vince needs to go. He cannot cut it anymore. Will he go? No. And if he does go, Bruce Pritchard's taken over and the company's going to be even worse than it was before. Those are all the news, rumors, and reports. Those are all the news, rumors, and reports. We got 3 weekly shows to go over. Thank you all. Thank you all for sticking by me. You guys have been amazing. All stream minus a few people, which we have already blocked and taken care of. I greatly appreciate everyone stopping by the channel to watch me. We got 16 likes. 16 likes. It's been a loaded show. Let's see if we can boost the like count because we got 3 weekly shows to go over. We're going to get right into it. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw. I know no one really wants to talk about Monday Night Raw, but unfortunately we're going to have to talk about it simply because of the fact that we did inevitably review Monday Night Raw, unfortunately. I wish I could have had the ISBW event take place on Monday rather than Friday. But then again, beggars can't be choosers. Raw wasn't good at all. I don't understand why anyone would think Monday Night Raw is good. It is absolutely fucking ridiculous. MVP and Omos MVP and Omos, Black Great Khali, they came out and they were going to have a steel cage match with Bobby Lashley. Specifically, it was Bobby Lashley, not Omos and MVP. Omos and Bobby Lashley. They were going to have the steel cage match. So MVP's hyping up Omos like he typically does, how he's going to brutalize Bobby Lashley, and the Almighty Era ends tonight. So Lashley comes out. Both men are ready to fight. All of a sudden, Cedric attacks Bobby Lashley. Cedric Alexander attacks Bobby Lashley. Cedric Alexander and Omos then swarm Bobby Lashley. We get this big brawl. The referees then separated them. Coming back from commercial, we had the match finally start. Omos and Lashley, they go back and forth a few times. Lashley ends up hitting a spear, but Omos kicked out. Omos then locked in he was locked in the hurt lock. Lashley then went up to the top. Omos caught him. Omos then got stomped down. Cedric Alexander came back, and he got involved again. Cedric was then choke slammed off the top of the cage to the ring, and Cedric was out for the rest of the match. Lashley went for a crossbody on Omos, but Omos caught him and sent him into the cage. Omos then with a Death Valley driver into the cage, and it broke. Lashley then no-sold it, got up, stood on his feet, and he was declared the winner. They gave us a weird finish, a shitty finish in which it was very lame. It was stereotypical. We have seen this shit time and time and time again. We saw this shit with Braun Strowman and The Big Show not that long ago. Why exactly are we going to care with fucking Omos and Bobby Lashley? This was supposed to be the end, but now it's continuing because we got Lashley issuing the Almighty Challenge next week. Didn't we already fucking get this shit? Lashley won the fucking feud. He is 2-1 against Omos. That should be the end. Now you want to know why Raw can't peak 1.6 million ratings. Here's another one. People actually think that there's a long-term plan for Mustafa Ali. You know what the plan is? Him getting buried and released. Austin Theory and Mustafa Ali was supposed to have a match. Theory then took the mic and he said, do you honestly think that this is going to happen? We need a special guest referee for this match. The Miz. Byron then said, this match just became a joke. Man, Byron Saxton, if you are looking for a shoot, that is a shoot if I have ever seen one. It's a joke. The company's a joke. Byron said this match just became a joke. No shit, bro. Theory then said, I'm going to take you back to the first lesson I learned from Vince McMahon. Expect the unexpected. Your opponent is not me. It's Veer Mahan. Veer Mahan came out, and of course this was a 3-on-1 handicap match. Theory tripped up Ali. Miz did nothing. Miz got in the way when Ali was going to do a dive. Miz then shoved Ali. Veer came in with the $1 million clothesline, cervical clutch, and Ali tapped out in 4 seconds. Veer then kept the clutch on Mustafa Ali as Theory and The Miz took selfies with Veer as he had Mustafa Ali in the clutch. Yeah, Mustafa Ali, he's really got plans, right? Yeah, he's doing some really good shit. Yeah, Mustafa Ali is so fucking good in this position that he's in right now. He's great, right? Fucking ridiculous. Mustafa Ali is going to get released sooner rather than later. Riddle versus Jimmy. Actually, no, wait. Before that, Rey and Dominic Mysterio actually came out and they made their return. And they kept Veer at bay. So now the Mysterios are back and they're about to get jobbed out to Veer. Now, Riddle and Jimmy Uso. Decent match, nothing that we haven't seen before. Riddle ended up winning. Riddle ended up winning with a roll-up cradle. That was pretty much it. Matt Riddle's great. Matt Riddle is great. And I'm liking the more serious tone that Matt Riddle is speaking in. I think they're doing a very good job with Matt Riddle and RK Bro, and I hope to see that continue. Los Lotharios were on Raw, trying to flirt with Liv Morgan. Let me ask a question then. If you unified the Raw and SmackDown tag team titles, if you unified the world titles, and you have Los Lotharios now appearing on Monday Night Raw when they're SmackDown superstars, why exactly is the brand split intact? I thought that Fox wanted brand exclusivity, but yet here are Los Lotharios appearing on Monday Night Raw. I guess that report was complete fucking bullshit now, huh? End the fucking brand split immediately. Judgment Day cut a promo. They looked good as per usual. Priest and Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan was with AJ and Finn Balor later on in the night, but Priest and Rhea Ripley, they said that it's time for punishment and utter eradication. Edge then talked about the crowd being angry. He told them to stop being sheep. Judgment Day equals power, and more will join. Edge has been teasing a lot on social media. He has been putting it out there. All of these names, fucking Ezekiel and Paige and fucking Tommaso Ciampa, all these fucking people. They have been putting all of these people out there, and he's been teasing who's going to join. Alexa Bliss as well, Sonya Deville. I like what they're doing. I think that what they're doing is actually pretty good. Los Lotharios took on AJ Styles and Finn Balor. This was a decent little match right here. I like the pairing of Styles and Balor. I think that if they want to, they could actually make Styles and Finn Balor the modern-day Shawn Michaels and Diesel. They could do tag team action and they could do singles action. I actually love this pairing. So, Styles and Balor took out Los Lotharios with double planches. Then, coming back from commercial, Balor then came in with a couple of forearm strikes and a tilt-a-whirl Russian leg sweep. Angel then took out Styles. Balor then with a sling blade. And then a super kick by Angel, tag to Humberto, moonsault, but Balor got the knees up. Humberto sold it beautifully. We had a phenomenal forearm to Garza, and then a coup de grace on Carrillo, and Balor and Styles win. Pretty decent tag team match. I actually like this pairing. I think these two would actually have a great fucking match with someone like the Usos or maybe RK Bro. I'd love to see that. I think that this is a great pairing. Kevin Owens and Alpha Academy. They had their DNA test, and the DNA test was contaminated by barbecue sauce. Otis screwed it up because he was eating pulled pork. Owens then got mad, and Chad Gable went to challenge Ezekiel to a match. Sonya Deville versus Alexa Bliss rematch. We've seen it. We've seen it time and time again. This match went 4 minutes. Sonya Deville tried to take the turnbuckle off. The referee tried to tie the knot of the turnbuckle rope back, and Sonya had Alexa Bliss beat for a 6 count, but the referee didn't see it. Alexa Bliss won with a terrible-looking DDT because Alexa Bliss sucks dick, and no, I'm not talking about Ryan Cabrera's. She sucks in the ring. Sonya Deville then got pissed and slapped the referee. Who gives a shit? I don't give a shit. Do you give a shit? I think not. Cody Rhodes, best thing on the show. Cody Rhodes, the only good thing on this show. Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes came out and he wanted to address what happened last week. He wanted to address Seth Rollins' attack from last week. He said, "I've been told that Seth Rollins is not here, but I hope he's listening. I tried to move forward, and you don't want to let it go. You said that I won't take anything away from you ever again. What exactly did I take away from you? A winner's bonus? 2 victories? A WrestleMania moment? If anything, The biggest threat to Seth Rollins is not Cody Rhodes, it's Seth Rollins. When I debuted, I was one of the bitter boys. Seth Rollins was on his way to the top. He had the Shield with him. I didn't win. I lost my way to the top. I scratched. I clawed. I painted my face with a smile on my face, but I endured. And the number of things that I learned is that I am not the American dream, so why not embrace the nightmare? You have dragged yourself into a pit of self-misery, and you are not going to drag me down there with you. Does Seth Rollins losing 2 matches hinder my quest for vindication? If Rollins wants to prevent me, if he wants to deny my second chance, you're going to have to kill me. So here's what I'm pitching. Rhodes versus Rollins for the 3rd time, but this time inside Hell in a Cell. Rollins then came up on the Titantron laughing, and he mocked Cody. He accepted. Cody said, "I'll see you in hell." I'm going to say this right now. Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes, they have been the best thing on Monday Night Raw all year. Maybe the best thing in the entire WWE all fucking year. And I mean that. I mean that wholeheartedly. These 2 individuals have been phenomenal. These 2 individuals have been great. Better than anything that Roman Reigns is doing. Excellent, excellent, excellent fucking stuff. Ezekiel, he took on Chad Gable. Look, he's not bad. He's not bad. Listen, both of these 2 individuals, they're good pro wrestlers. It wasn't a bad match. Ezekiel had some nice offense. They did fine. I actually love the progression of Ezekiel from an in-ring standpoint. Elias, Ezekiel, whatever you want to call him, he's gotten a lot better in the ring. And I respect that. But I'm not going to sit here and praise this because at the end of the fucking day, the storyline has just taken a fucking nosedive. The storyline has taken a fucking nosedive. It needs to end. Ezekiel ended up winning with a roll-up. Who cares? Who cares at the end of the day? Everything that we've seen with Ezekiel and everything that we've seen with Kevin Owens, it just needs to end. Just give me Ezekiel versus Kevin Owens. Have Ezekiel win. Get Kevin Owens in something more serious. Put him against Ricochet for the Intercontinental Championship. Maybe turn him babyface. Have him go up against Austin Theory for the United States Championship. Do something. Do something. Lacey Evans came back. Who gives a shit? Who gives a fuck? This was lame. We've seen this shit over and over again. Lacey Evans just fucking sucks. She just sucks. She was talking about the armed forces of the United States. And listen, I respect that. You know, thank you for being in attendance. Thank you for your services. We can wake up and work to win. I'm not better than anyone, but they damn sure aren't better than me. Blah, blah, blah. Listen, I respect the armed forces and I love this country. That's a great thing to say. But at the end of the day, this shit, it's just lame. It's just lame. It's tiresome. I don't give a fuck. I legitimately do not give a fuck about anything that Lacey Evans does or says. She is a dead fucking character. Who gives a fuck about Lacey Evans? No one. Nobody does. Asuka. Asuka versus Becky Lynch. Who cares? Who cares? What do you think happened? Becky threw Asuka into Bianca. Becky went for Asuka's umbrella, and Becky got sprayed with the mist behind Asuka's back, and then Asuka hit her with a spinning heel kick as Bianca distracted the ref, and what do you think happened? Asuka won. Asuka and Bianca are the match for Hell in a Cell. Because Sasha Banks and Naomi forced WWE's hand, so good on Sasha Banks and Naomi. And fuck WWE for what they did to them. Who gives a shit? I don't give a shit. I really don't give a shit. Means nothing. Means absolutely nothing. We're going to go over 2 more shows, and then we're going to get on out of here. AEW Dynamite, best show of the week. Best show of the week. We got Wild Card Wednesday. Wild Card Wednesday. Samoa Joe, he took on the Joker. Samoa Joe took on the Joker, and it was Johnny Elite, a.k.a. John Morrison. I was not expecting this. I was not expecting this at all. I was expecting Johnny Gargano. I was expecting Cesaro. Someone along. I was maybe even expecting Jay White. But we ended up getting John Morrison. Johnny Elite. Now this is actually very, very interesting. I don't think that he's going to be all elite. I really don't think he's going to be all elite. But I really do think that he could very well come back for a couple of one-offs here and there. I would not mind seeing him again because he actually looked pretty damn good. He's someone that I didn't even expect to show up in AEW. But you know what? I like this. This was a great move. So, pretty fun little match right here. Nothing overly crazy, but he looked good, did John Morrison. He looked very good. Joe obviously used his power against Johnny. Johnny tried to wear down Joe. We had a cartwheel lariat, which looked very good. And then a cartwheel plancha onto Joe, onto the floor. Coming back from commercial, Joe with a shoulder tackle. Joe with a shoulder tackle. He was trying to wear down Johnny. He turned Johnny inside out with the shoulder tackle. And then a nice running senton for a 2. We had a big chop down. Joe was intense as ever. We had a Samoan drop. Johnny Elite got Joe up for the Samoan drop. Then he went for the 450 splash. He was too far away. He landed on his feet, and then he hit the splash. I actually did not like that spot. Obviously, it could have been avoided. Joe should have been a little bit closer. But at the end of the fucking day, the 450 splash, he landed on his feet, and then he got the splash. Joe ended up kicking out. We had a knee strike to the head. He went for Starship Pain. Joe got the knees up. Joe then hit the Muscle Buster, and Joe advanced to the semifinals. Lethal and Dutt then attacked. Satnam Singh came out too. They took it to Joe until the Best Friends came out with steel chairs to run them off. And that was pretty much that. I'm liking what's going on over here. I'm really, really, really liking what's going on over here. Johnny Elite was a very nice surprise. And Joe, I can see Joe making it to the finals, but I can see Jay Lethal fucking Joe over and Adam Cole winning the tournament. I can see Jay Lethal and Samoa Joe fighting for the Ring of Honor World Television Championship after Double or Nothing with Jay Lethal winning it. I would actually love to see Jay Lethal win the Ring of Honor World Television Championship. I think that would be great. I think that'd be awesome. Solid match. Nice surprise. And Joe advances. I can see Joe advancing over Kyle O'Reilly next week. CM Punk came out for the next match on commentary. And CM Punk was in the news a lot this week because he wore a pro-abortion t-shirt. It said, abortion rights are human rights. Now, listen, I love CM Punk as a pro wrestler. He will go down as one of the greatest of all time. He is one of the most influential wrestlers of the modern era. He was actually my inspiration to go straight edge. But CM Punk, as a person when it comes to politics, CM Punk is a fucking douche. CM Punk's a fucking idiot. He's a retard. Abortion rights shouldn't even exist. Abortion rights are not human rights. It's common logic. An unborn child is not a part of a woman's body. That's basic biology. But you won't hear that from any Democrats. You won't hear that from any Democrats because Democrats are mindless fucking zombies. CM Punk, he comes from the most liberal shithole on the planet. That's Chicago, Illinois. So, of course, CM Punk's going to act like a fucking retard. Of course, he's going to come out with a shit t-shirt that should be burned in a furnace. I love CM Punk as a wrestler, but as a person, he's a fucking retard. He is. He's a piece of shit. I still love him as a wrestler. He's just a piece of shit as a person. Abortion rights are not human rights. I am all for being able to do whatever you want with your body, but an unborn child is not your body. Do not keep on making any of these excuses. Enough of the fucking excuses. Enough of the bullshit. Abortion is murder. Abortion should be outlawed everywhere. And if you think otherwise, it just goes to show you that you are ignorant and you're selfish. You're ignorant, you're selfish, you're a piece of garbage. Those are the types of people that support abortion. People that are ignorant, selfish pieces of shit. So CM Punk, obviously being a fucking douche, he's a fucking retard. But regardless, he's on commentary for this match, this next match, which was match of the night for me. This was match of the night for me. Konosuke Takeshita versus Adam Page. Holy shit. The first match with Jay Lethal, that one really did sell me. But this one was even better. Konosuke Takeshita gave Adam Page probably the best non-title match of his reign. This was fucking awesome. And I mean awesome. So we had some stiff strikes right out of the gate. Page took out Takeshita with a big plancha over the top to the floor. Takeshita then came in with his own plancha, which looked great. Then all of a sudden, we saw Takeshita get caught with a back suplex on the apron and then a big moonsault to the floor. Coming back from commercial, Takeshita with a very nice haluva kick. And then he delivered a German suplex to Adam Page. Adam Page came back with a German suplex of his own. Takeshita then was caught with a tombstone pile driver, but he kicked out. Takeshita then with a last ride, Page kicked out. Page then caught a big jumping knee, but Page was able to get out of that one. Page with a rolling elbow, and then up top, Takeshita with a lariat off the top rope. Page rolled out of it, rolling elbow, a buckshot lariat, and then he eyed CM Punk and delivered a GTS to win the match. This was fucking great. Afterwards, both men stood face to face on the ramp. The crowd went nuts, and Page just walked away. Now that was a great match. Great way to sell the feud. I am loving this. This is great. CM Punk and Adam Page are going to absolutely tear the fucking house down at Double or Nothing. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. It is going to be awesome. And I cannot wait to see what happens going forward. We have a great fucking main event and everything else that followed. Double or Nothing's main event. We got Serena Deeb and Thunder Rosa. We got the Anarchy in the Arena. We got the Owen Hart Cup tournament matches. We have the triple threat tag team match with Swerve, Keith Lee, and then we got Team Taz and Jurassic Express. We got Anna Jay and Jade Cargill for the TBS Championship. They've assembled a great fucking card, and I think we're going to get a great fucking show. Maybe even the best show all year if they want it to be. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. Great match. Sold the match at Double or Nothing beautifully. And CM Punk's a fucking retard for wearing that t-shirt. It should be burned in a furnace. And anyone that supports the abortion rights, they shouldn't even exist. Anyone that supports abortion is an ignorant, selfish piece of shit. Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee. They took on J.D. Drake and Anthony Henry. Very stereotypical showcase match. Swerve and Keith Lee won with the Fall from Glory. They had a tag team finisher. It's a double stomp spirit bomb combo. They call it Fall from Glory. Good stuff. Lee then cut a promo, and then they've said they've become a top 5 ranked tag team. Team Taz then came out. Starks called Lee Rex from Toy Story. He then called them insane. Swerve then targeted Stark's attire. And then Jurassic Express came out. Christian Cage got involved. He took a shot at Ricky too. And then he pitched a triple threat match at Double or Nothing. And then next week, we got ourselves Swerve, Starks, and Jungle Boy in a tag team preview of a triple threat match next week. Triple threat match next week, a preview for what is to come in the tag team title match. I like it. I like it. Good stuff. One thing I really do love is I love Swerve and Keith Lee. Swerve and Lee as a tag team, this is a great thing because, again, they could be like Michaels and Diesel. They could be a tag team and do a singles run as well. This is great for both men because it gives them something to do. It makes them feel important, and everybody loves Swerve and Keith Lee. Really good stuff right here. I am all for it. I'm all for it. MJF and Shawn Spears, they came out. They called the people of Texas fatheads. Crowd chanted asshole and shut the fuck up. Really good stuff right there. Awesome, awesome, awesome stuff. We also got Wardlow coming out. He told the security to send out the pig for whipping. MJF spit in Wardlow's face. Obviously, he's trying to provoke him because if Wardlow touches him, then the match at Double or Nothing is off. Also, Lisa, you're going to have to choose. It's either MJF or Wardlow. You got to choose, and we are going to keep on giving you shit until you choose. Keep on giving you shit until you choose. But Wardlow, he stood there and he laughed. He did not give in to MJF's peer pressure. So MJF whipped Wardlow, and Wardlow was completely unfazed. Wardlow was unfazed. Wardlow laughed at the first whip, and then MJF started getting pissed. He started whipping Wardlow over and over and over again. Wardlow was just standing there like, is somebody hitting me? Just standing there. Wardlow is just standing there. MJF just whipping Wardlow. He's unfazed. And Shawn Spears actually had to back MJF away because he started doing it over and over again. And MJF, this is how great he is. MJF yelling back at Wardlow, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. It's great. Excellent, excellent, excellent touch right there. Great stuff. It's awesome. So Wardlow, he got whipped by Shawn Spears as well. All of a sudden, on the final one, MJF low-blowed Wardlow and then whipped him a bunch of more times after the 10 count already. And then MJF, with the Dynamite Diamond Ring, punched Wardlow in the face. Excellent stuff. And then Shawn Spears delivered a C4. And that was it. That was it. Really good stuff. Really, really, really good stuff. And MJF then counted 3 for Shawn Spears. A mock count. 1, 2, 3 for Shawn Spears. This was great. This was great. This may have been better than the whips that Cody took. This was awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome stuff. I can't wait to see this match. Match is going to be awesome. Kyle O'Reilly and Rey Fenix. This was a first round Owen Hart Cup tournament match. Both men started trading strikes immediately. Fenix then with a springboard enziguri and a big tope con hero through the ropes. It wasn't over the ropes, it was through the ropes. Rey Fenix is fucking insane. Fenix then mounted a comeback. Fenix with a springboard super kick and a modified powerbomb for a 2. We had a Hurricane Rana into a pin, but O'Reilly kicked out. Pop-up kick by O'Reilly. Roundhouse kick by Fenix. Rolling butterfly suplexes by O'Reilly. It was just one move after the other. It was fucking nuts. We had a huge rebound lariat by O'Reilly after a hook kick by Fenix. Double roundhouse kick. Both men are down. We had a top rope Hurricane Rana off the apron to the floor. Fenix then rolled Kyle O'Reilly back in the ring, went for the roll-through cutter, and Fenix was caught in midair into an armbar leg lock combo, and Fenix tapped out. O'Reilly advances in a great fucking match. It was awesome. Awesome fucking match. Probably the second best match of the night for me anyway. And O'Reilly advances. We get O'Reilly and Joe, the Ring of Honor boys, in the semifinals, and the winner goes on to fight Adam Cole. Really solid stuff right here. I love what they did. Awesome stuff. We had Regal and Jericho, the face-to-face confrontation. The BCC, Kingston and Proud and Powerful, then accompanied Regal, while the Jericho Appreciation Society accompanied Jericho to the ring. So Angelo Parker told the production crew, cut the music and cut the pyro. None of it. No, nothing. Obviously, them being heels. Jericho trashed the BCC and Proud and Powerful for beating them up. Jericho then blamed William Regal for the attack. He thought Regal would have been dead by now, said Jericho. Jericho then talked about Regal's wasted potential, and you ended up a world-class addict. He told Kingston to tell his wife that if she doesn't have any more fun with him, just to give him a call. Obviously, Jericho being a heel, because Jericho is an asshole when he really gets into it. Really good stuff right here. Really good stuff. So from there, we ended up hearing Jericho say that Bryan is a squeaky clean nerd. And if he keeps on hanging around William Regal, he's going to send him to the program with Moxley. He told Proud and Powerful that the only reason that they're successful is because of him. And then he goes, maybe, Regal, I'll just take a piss in your tea again. This was great. This was fucking awesome. Jericho being the dick that he was always meant to be. Really good stuff right there. Regal then said, there was one thing that kept me going. For the entirety of my time in WWE or WCW or any company that we were a part of. He said every single time that I was in the back while you were wrestling in the ring, I would go to your toiletry bag, pull out your toothbrush, and stick it right up my bottom. And then he said to Daniel Garcia, I don't know why you're laughing, Flower. I don't know what you're talking about. I did it to you last week. So Regal was about to be challenged by Jericho to a stadium stampede match, but Moxley said, no, I'm not doing that shit. You need to get your ass kicked. You are 5 douchebags, and I'll take you 5 douchebags versus us 5 pro wrestlers. Sports entertainment versus pro wrestling, the sport that we love versus a bunch of stupid bullshit. Anarchy in the arena match. The JAS then left. Bryan and Kingston then got into it, and we had an excellent segment to close the show where Bryan and Kingston, they were arguing. So obviously this is the can they coexist factor. Obviously this is being generated over the course of X amount of weeks. And obviously Kingston and Bryan, they're going to have some problems. This is all inevitably leading to the BCC and Proud and Powerful and Kingston beating the Jericho Appreciation Society. It's pro wrestlers versus sports entertainers. Britt Baker took on the Joker. Owen Hart Cup Tournament quarterfinal match for the women. This was one of the very few negatives on the show, and it was a big overbearing negative. Listen, I get that Britt Baker is not going to lose in the first round. I get that Britt Baker is going to make it to the second round, and I get that Britt Baker is a woman that you want to have in an Owen Hart Cup tournament. I get it. Trust me, I get it. But out of everyone that you could have picked for the fucking Joker, you had to pick Maki Ito. I'm sorry. That shit is a huge fucking disappointment. I don't give a shit how cute you think she is. I don't give a shit how good of a wrestler she is. She's a fine wrestler, but holy shit, this was a disappointment. Her character fucking sucks as well. Fucking annoying is Maki Ito. Absolutely fucking annoying. Very, very, very disappointing Joker. If you wanted to do a Joker, you could have done a Nixon Newell, could have done a Taya Valkyrie, Deonna Purrazzo, Ember Moon, Athena, anyone but Maki Ito. Why did it have to be Maki Ito? Fucking terrible. This was fucking lame. One of the worst surprises that we've ever gotten from WWE, not WWE, AEW. This sounds like something that WWE would do. But one of the worst surprises that we ever got from AEW, ever. Shit Joker. Very disappointing. Now, the match was a fine little match. It wasn't a terrible wrestling match. I know what a terrible wrestling match is. But this was fucking disappointing. So Maki Ito tried to pull a Kevin Nash, and he tried to do the finger poke of doom. That obviously didn't happen. Baker with a butterfly suplex for a 2. Maki Ito no-sold the buckle shots. She headbutted the turnbuckle as if she was Gorilla Monsoon. Baker didn't know what to make of it. Ito hit a tornado DDT for a 2, and then a stalling headbutt. Baker inevitably hit a thrust kick, and then the lockjaw, and Baker tapped out Maki Ito. And we inevitably got Baker advancing to the semifinals. It's going to be Baker and Toni Storm. And then in the semifinals, we got Chris Statlander and Ruby Soho. I like it. Some good stuff right there. Some good stuff. Tony Schiavone was in the ring. He was talking about Double or Nothing. All of a sudden, Serena Deeb interrupted him. And she trashed him for predicting that Rosa is going to beat her. Serena Deeb came out and she trashed Tony Schiavone for saying that she doesn't stand a chance against Rosa. Things started to get good. She called him an idiot, and then she called out Dustin Rhodes to the ring. He came out, he looked confused. Serena then trashed Texas sports teams like a heel does. She then called Rosa Dustin's teacher's pet. You know how hard it was for me, and I still get no respect. I got breast implants to satisfy some old perverts. I shaved my head to show how much I wanted this. Why did you say that I couldn't beat Rosa? No answer? You know why you're not answering me? Because you don't have the balls to. Serena Deeb was on fire. Really good promo right here. I like where this is going. Now, they took something that was so simple. They took something that was so simple as if people just let this go over their head. Tony Schiavone and Dustin Rhodes, they were interviewed in a quick little segment stating that there's no way that Serena Deeb is going to beat Thunder Rosa. Meanwhile, Serena Deeb, she took that to heart. And now she's bringing that to television. This was a very, very good promo. Afterwards, Rosa came out. Dustin was trying to hold her back. She inadvertently elbowed Dustin Rhodes, and then Serena Deeb hit her with the belt. I like where this is going. That was a great promo by Serena Deeb. Really good stuff right there. Adam Cole versus Jeff Hardy. Owen Hart Cup Tournament semifinal match. This was very quick and very disappointing. I don't know what happened here. I really don't know what happened here. Adam Cole and Jeff Hardy, they went on at 9:51. They had about 7 minutes of a match, which resulted in the Young Bucks then attacking the Hardys before Sting and Darby came out, and then we inevitably saw the Young Bucks and the Undisputed Elite beat down Sting, Darby, and the Hardys. I don't understand what happened here, but if anything, it just goes to show you that there's just not enough hours of AEW TV time. Tony Khan needs to start working some magic. He either needs to take some shit off the show and put the most important shit on the show, or you're going to have to ask for a 5 to 10 minute overrun of AEW Dynamite, or make Rampage 2 hours. Move it from Friday to Thursday at 8 to 10. And that's a 2-hour live Rampage. We need a live Rampage. We do. Rampage is not built for 1 hour. We need 2 hours Rampage and a 1 hour extension for Rampage with a 5 to 10 minute overrun for Dynamite. And we need Ring of Honor to start up very soon. We need it because the roster is just so overstacked. And this is the problem. There's just not enough hours of TV time. The roster is great because we get a different show every week. But at the end of the fucking day, there's just not enough hours of television time to fit everything that we need to fit into on the shows. That is why you need to put either the most important thing on the shows or what we need. We need a 2-hour Rampage and then a 1 hour Ring of Honor show. We need more hours of AEW television program because this shit is not working. It's not working. It's inexcusable that Jeff Hardy and Adam Cole only got 7 minutes. Very, very quick match. We had a Russian leg sweep by Hardy and a mule kick. Enziguri by Cole. Gourd Buster by Jeff for a 2. We had a super kick mid-air off the Whisper in the Wind. Jeff grabbed the rope. Hardy with a twist of hate. And for those of you wondering what's the difference between a twist of fate and a twist of hate, a twist of fate is when Jeff Hardy drops into a cutter, into an RKO. But a twist of hate is when Jeff Hardy drops into a stunner. He went for the swanton. He missed it. Cole lowered the boom. 1, 2, 3. Again, we need better timing. We need better time management. We need a 2-hour Rampage, and we need a 5 to 10 minute overrun for Dynamite. If NXT can do it, then AEW should be able to do it. Cole and the Bucks beat down the Hardys afterwards, and then Sting and Darby came out to help. Red Dragon attacked. Sting then caught double super kicks, and they crushed Sting's ankle in a chair as the heels stood tall. Now, we do have the Hardys versus the Young Bucks at Double or Nothing. That should be awesome. That's going to be great. I fully expect the Hardys to win. That's going to be great. We also have Cole versus the winner of O'Reilly and Samoa Joe. That's going to be awesome. It's going to be good. The show should be good. But outside of Maki Ito and that horribly timed main event, Dynamite was a very good show. Lots of good stuff to like. Lots of good material to get invested in. But again, Maki Ito as the Joker, shit move. And AEW needs to A, manage their time better, make Rampage 2 hours, and give Dynamite a 5 to 10 minute overstretch. Shit like this should never take place. Never. Dynamite, though, was a very good show, like I said. We have surpassed 2 hours and 18 minutes, and we got one more show to go over, and then we're going to get on out of here. Once again, thank you, Alex Mercado, Danielle Wolf, Lisa, Dee Dee. Thank you to Peanuts. Thank you to Earl Cole. Thank you to everyone that has stopped by. You guys have been fucking awesome since the word go. You guys have been awesome. How many likes do we got? We have exactly 18 likes. Can we get 2 more likes, people? Let me get 2 more likes to get to... I want to get to 20. I want you guys to start sharing this shit out. I want to get to 20. We're going to go over Rampage, and then we're going to get on out of here, and I'm going to enjoy my Saturday. AEW Rampage, very, very good show. I would actually say it was much better timed than AEW Dynamite was. We had the House of Black. They took on Fuego del Sol, Evil Uno, and Dark Order number 10. It's a very fun match to kick off Rampage. They know how to start Rampage off on the right foot. And the House of Black remain undefeated as a trio. The House of Black were in control. Buddy Matthews then did a Penta arm snap, which was very, very, very good. I hope we do get Buddy Matthews versus Penta. That would be great. Very nice touch. They isolated Evil Uno. We had a tag to Fuego. He didn't favor too well. Coming back from commercial, we had a tag to number 10. He lit up everyone. 10 with a lariat to Brody King. A slingshot German suplex on Black for a 2. Black then with a jumping knee and a knee bar. Uno then saved it. We had a lariat by number 10. A tag to Uno. Uno with some running boots. All of a sudden, Malachi Black with a moonsault. He took out Dark Order number 10. Buddy Murphy with a draping DDT. The Tommaso Ciampa-esque draping DDT. A Tommaso Ciampa-esque DDT to Fuego del Sol right on the ramp. They still had the ramp set up. The ramp was elevated. It almost was like an elevated show, an elevated pay-per-view type of ramp. If you guys remember the ramp from Revolution, 2020, the ramp was elevated. That's what it reminded me of. So DDT on the ramp by Buddy Murphy, or Buddy Matthews rather, on Fuego del Sol. And then in the ring, Brody King he had Evil Uno in a Canadian backbreaker situation, right? He had Evil Uno in a Canadian backbreaker situation, and then all of a sudden, he just dropped him into a fucking pile driver, which looked fucking brutal. And I mean fucking brutal. I would not want to be on the receiving end of that. Absolutely brutal. Very, very, very fun match. And the House of Black, they're living up to their word. The house always wins. House always wins, and the House of Black come out victorious. Death Triangle then came out with a tombstone, and they revealed what it said. It said, House of Black, Double or Nothing. So we get the trios match at Double or Nothing. And holy shit, it is going to be a fucking crazy trios match. I'm looking at a trios match that could very well outdo what the Shield and the Wyatt family did at the Elimination Chamber in 2014. The only other trios match that could possibly outdo Shield and the Wyatts from 2014 would be Kenny Omega and the Bucks versus Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, and Adam Cole. That's the only other match. But this is going to be awesome. Cannot wait for this trios match. On Dynamite, Roppongi Vice. Roppongi Vice is back in action, and FTR has accepted the challenge. It's going to be FTR versus Roppongi Vice on Dynamite in a Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship match. Now that is fucking awesome. Sean Spears, he then took on Big Damo. Big Damo, a.k.a. Killian Dane. Very nice to see Big Damo. He looks good. Looks very good. Big Damo actually got a little bit of offense. He got a crossbody on the floor, a wasteland, and then a senton. He went for the Vader bomb, but he missed. Sean Spears exposed his knee. He hit Killian Dane with a knee strike and then popped him with the C4. And Spears got the win. Obviously, this is leading towards Sean Spears' steel cage match with Wardlow with MJF as the special guest referee. That should be awesome. Spears then cut a promo afterwards saying Wardlow is not Superman. And next week in the main event, Wardlow is going to be locked in a cage with the Giant Killer. Should be good. Very much looking forward to that. It is going to be awesome. Red Velvet and Chris Statlander. I was very much looking forward to this match, and these two women did not disappoint. These two women brought it, and I very much love this match. This was a very, very, very good match. Probably the match that was actually better than Jamie Hayter and Toni Storm. I actually enjoyed this match better than I did Jamie Hayter and Toni Storm. These two women worked very well together. So, obviously, Red Velvet being the cocky little scrappy heel that she is, she trash talked Statlander. Statlander then shoved Red Velvet off of a headlock. She shoved the headlock that Red Velvet had on her. She had a one-armed military press slam. So that was very impressive by Statlander. Statlander's fucking great. Statlander's awesome. Statlander, she's up there. She's up there with some of the best, Statlander. Statlander is probably one of the most underappreciated female professional wrestlers of the industry right now, right behind Naomi. Statlander's awesome. So a one-armed military press by Statlander. Statlander was just ragdolling Red Velvet around. Statlander then with a suplex to Velvet on the ring apron right in front of the baddies. Velvet then went to Chris Statlander's knee, which was the weak point. She hit a nice dragon screw, a reverse dragon screw, which looked very, very nasty. Velvet then took over. Statlander came back with a beautiful O'Connor roll German suplex. I'd like to see her do more of that. The O'Connor roll German suplex is probably one of my favorite moves in the wrestling world right now. That and the satellite DDT are my top two favorite moves. I love the satellite DDT and I love the O'Connor roll German suplex. So, O'Connor roll German suplex, beautifully connected. Not as good as Chad Gable, but beautifully connected. That got a 2 count. Velvet then hit the final slice, but Statlander kicked out. Statlander with a beautiful Blue Thunder Bomb. Love the rotation on that. Beautiful Blue Thunder Bomb. That got a 2 count. We had double knees by Velvet, a wheelbarrow facebuster, which looked very good. The wheelbarrow facebuster looked very, very, very good. It actually looked better than the way Xavier Woods executes it. Really good stuff there by Velvet. That got a 2. Velvet tried for the roll-up, but Statlander rolled up Velvet, and she was able to get the win in a very good match. And the baddies then attacked Chris Statlander afterwards. Ruby Soho came out to help. She was on commentary. The baddies were too much. Anna Jay then came out with Mark Sterling's crutch. She got in Cargill's face, and it looks like we're getting Anna Jay versus Jade Cargill at Double or Nothing. I don't know why this match is taking place now. We've already seen this match all the way back in January, but apparently considering that they had a good match the first time, maybe they want to do it again. Maybe Statlander is being saved for after Double or Nothing. Maybe they're going to give Statlander the win. Maybe Statlander's the one to take it off of Jade Cargill. I don't know. But either way, it should be a decent match. Don't know why they're doing it again. We've already seen it back in January. But I do believe that Statlander will inevitably get a match with Jade Cargill. I think it's going to happen after Double or Nothing. It's going to be Statlander, Cargill after Double or Nothing, and Jade Cargill is inevitably going to come out victorious. That's what I see happening. That's what I can see happening. But very good match. Very good match between Velvet and Statlander. I actually like this match better than Toni Storm and Jamie Hayter. I think this was the best match of the tournament thus far. I love the intensity. This was probably Red Velvet's best match ever. This was Red Velvet's best match ever. Not Chris Statlander's best match ever. Her best match ever was with Britt Baker. But I love this match. Really good stuff. Really good stuff by both women. Men of the Year and Dan Lambert were out. Ethan Page had the mic. He bashed the Inner Circle for breaking up because, of course, he did. So, Sky told Guevara to return his stolen TNT title belt. Guevara came up on the screen, and unless they got the mixed tag team match, they were going to destroy the belt, and that's exactly what they did. Frankie Kazarian then joined in on the fun. So, we are inevitably going to get the mixed tag team match, probably at Double or Nothing. Should be good. Should be good. Matt Sydal and Dante Martin versus Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley. Blackpool Combat Club in action. This was another very good match. A lot of really good wrestling on Rampage this week, like there usually is. Rampage is a wrestling show. Rampage is for wrestling. So the BCC were in control. Dante Martin came back with a big crossbody to the floor onto the BCC. We had a rear naked choke to Seidel on the floor. Butterfly suplex off the top by Danielson to Dante. Transitioned into the label lock. Really good stuff right there. Dante then got to the ropes. Moxley then with an assisted... He caught 2 assisted roundhouse kicks, double roundhouse kicks. We had an assisted shotgun drop kick, a Meteora on the ring apron by Matt Seidel. Meteora, just picture Bryan Danielson sitting in a seated position on the ring apron, and then all of a sudden we see Matt Seidel come off the top with a Meteora onto the ring apron, onto Danielson. That looked good. And then Dante Martin with the nosedive moonsault to Moxley. Danielson saved the match. Moxley hit a pile driver, but Dante still kicked out. Afterwards, Moxley hit the paradigm shift, and we get the BCC winning. Very good match to end Rampage. Afterwards, the Jericho Appreciation Society, they attacked, and they didn't show it, but Bryan Danielson's leg, it got caught between the ramp and the ring. Now, I hope he's okay. Tony Khan did acknowledge it. He said that I highly discourage fighting after the matches are over. But we ended up getting it anyway. I hope to God that Bryan Danielson is okay. Now, if he isn't, I'd like to believe that they'll replace Bryan Danielson with Wheeler Yuta. Either way, it's a great spot for Wheeler Yuta to fit. So we'll see what happens there. But a very good Rampage. I can only pray that Bryan Danielson is okay. Ladies and gentlemen, a very, very, very loaded edition of the LFU. Probably one of my best LFUs to date. I greatly appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you, Dee Dee, Lisa, Danielle. Thank you to everyone. Earl Cole, thank you. Peanuts, everyone. You guys have been awesome. Don't forget to follow me on social media. Check out all the links in the description. And, of course, keep an eye out because I did record a vlog video for my weekend at ISPW War to Settle the Score in Totowa, New Jersey. So, trust me, you are going to want to be on the lookout for that. And the Summer of Storms will be starting. The Summer of Storms will be starting. It is starting exactly on May 26th. Next week's going to be a busy fucking week. You do not want to miss it. It's going to be good. And I hope you guys have an awesome, awesome weekend. And Lisa, you're going to be meeting MJF next Saturday. Try to keep it under control, okay? Try to keep it under control. Now, I must bid you adieu. I will see you guys on Thursday because Earl Cole and myself will be live. We're going to be previewing and predicting AEW Double or Nothing. It's going to be damn good. Remember to watch out for the rundowns, the rewinds, the LFUs, everything far and few in between. I will be in Butler, New Jersey for the next ISPW show where Tommy Dreamer is going to be facing Danny Morrison for the ISPW Heavyweight Championship. I leave you with that. I hope you have an awesome weekend. And remember, people, who runs the IWC? Who but DJ motherfucking Storms? I'll catch you guys on Thursday on our Cole's channel, The Wrestling Experience.